I'm having to open a text document just to categorize all the media I've consumed in the last 2 weeks.
To be clear, I said, give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. It was my way of saying, I'll be back in like 20 seconds.
Oh, okay. I've heard that.
I figured, but I just heard the lamb's tail, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Must be something violent. But violently tear off a lamb's tail. Chew it off with your teeth.
I've got grapes, water, chamomile tea, and red wine. I feel pretty good.
That's a pretty good combination.
I know. I'm ready for a decadent podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready to luxuriate in the carnal delights of chatting with you all about video games.
This is the highest class podcast that you're going to find, really.
I'm just lowering them into my mouth now. Oh, they're really ripe too. Just like the perfect amount.
Do the grapes match the wine?
Well, they're both red.
Okay.
I don't eat green grapes. Ugh. Well, I will eat green grapes if those are the grapes available to me.
If those are the only ones available, sure, but I'm not really a fan.
Yeah, we'll go red grapes if you're making a choice. Green grapes if, well, they are grapes.
What's the difference, honestly?
It is different. The red grapes are a little sweeter.
I think I like the green ones more.
Okay.
It's okay because you have no taste. It's okay.
I'm like super sensitive to sweet stuff, so I like the green ones more.
I'm super sensitive to wanting to eat sweet stuff all the time. That's why all my tea has like 4 teaspoons of sugar in it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I bet your dentist loves you.
Oh, yeah, they weren't happy. Yeah. I told you I got 8 cavities. It went up to 8.
Oh, jeez.
It said 7, and then I was like, oh, okay. And then on the last one they said, all right, we have 3 more. Oh, I thought you was 7. No, we have 8. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I get the same kind of doctor's visits because I have a weird hereditary thing where the enamel on my teeth didn't grow on right and it's not developed right. So it's just like, oh, hey, cool. These things can just break if you eat ice cream.
Oh, Jesus!
Oh, good stuff. That's actually the last time I broke a tooth was ice cream.
Ooh.
I'm not even kidding. It's just like, what the fuck?
What happened? It gets cold and just...
I have no idea. Like I said, it's just... My teeth are... It was with my grandma and my dad both had the same issue.
Wow.
Like, my dad lost all his teeth by the time he was 30.
Oh, no.
He eventually... he just had them taken out. He just said, fuck it, and had them taken out. Because it's just like, it's only going to get worse for you. It's like, I would do that, but I don't have $25,000.
Oh. Yeah, my teeth problems are of my own design, I think. I think it's fairly safe to say. And then they told me, I said, like, should I stop? And they said, well, do what you want, just floss. And I was like, okay, I'll floss.
Floss?
And I'll keep drinking
floss?
I floss now, yeah.
Okay.
You haven't flossed since childhood?
He cleans his teeth like he cleans his toasters.
He just buys new ones.
Toaster ovens. You kept saying that. I don't have a
know.
toaster. I have a toaster oven because I'm civilized.
Well, see, it's funnier if I exaggerate it as toaster. See, that's the thing people don't get about a lot of my humor is I like to exaggerate it. I make it funnier. It's like, yeah, I know you were saying toaster oven, but it's funnier if I say you don't know how to clean a toaster and that you would rather just buy a new one every time it dies.
No, that makes sense to me.
No, it's just like, oh shit, this has a little bit of breadcrumbs in it. Time to go buy a new toaster. That's Brett.
Or exaggerating like my weird sadism stuff. Yeah. That's all exaggerated.
Oh, it's totally exaggerated. we all totally believe that that's an exaggeration. But you know what's not an exaggeration?
Uh-oh.
The fact that we live in a post-episode 100 world for this beautiful podcast that we host, the Sockscast. So welcome to episode 101, brought to you as always by Moon Pies. Moon Pies. 9 out of 10 orthodontists agree they're better than toothpaste. It's true.
That's how John got 8 cavities.
I thought that kind of tied real thematically into where we were in conversation there, so it worked out.
Yeah, and the part that we weren't recording.
Yeah. No, we're recording. We got everything. We got everything. We're good. We're good.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So hey, how's it going? Welcome. We're still doing this for some reason.
I know,
Sockscast,
even though we hit our goal.
Season 2.
The curse is lifted.
Yep, season 2 just started, just kicked off.
Well, the goal was to get a sponsor, right? Oh, sponsored by Moon Pies, right?
We're sponsored by Moon Pies.
Yeah.
Boy, it's just, yep.
Sorry.
This podcast is
delicious grapes.
It's just as free flowing and smooth as butter as it has always been.
I was about to compliment you on that just particularly well constructed and organic intro, Polly.
I had to fuck it up. That's what I do here.
Nice work. Nice work. So, the one fucking it up is, of course, the person to my immediate virtual right. He'll swear at you if he gets the chance. It's Rhett.
Is that a reference? That's a Mike Man reference, right?
No, it's not. No,
it's been a while.
It's a Kendrick Lamar reference.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so surprised Rhett didn't grab that one.
My friends are idiots.
I listened to when you linked me. I had a good time.
How's it going, Rhett?
It's going.
It's going? It doesn't sound like it. You are not on the ball in terms of being ready for a podcast at all, it doesn't sound like.
Look, I put like 20 hours into Xenoblade this weekend already.
I'm sorry.
I think I'm in the last dungeon.
We'll find out.
But I think they procedurally generate more the further you get, so we'll see.
I think
because no one has ever actually finished this game.
Yeah. It's just...
It eventually just becomes a roguelike, and the numbers are just infinitely growing.
That's how that goes. Thank you, Tengu Gemini, for the subscription. To my immediate virtual left, he's Violent J, and he's back like a vertebrae. It's John Thayer.
Hey.
How's it going?
And living the dream.
Living the dream. Just like living the dream.
I caught an image that was two wolves inside you arguing over how to respond to someone. How you doing? One is it's going, and the other is living the dream. So that made me happy when I did that.
I heard you say there are two wolves inside you, and
then I just
knowing that it's John Thayer, I was just like, uh-oh, this could go real wrong real fast if I don't stop it, and I failed to stop it. Thankfully, it wasn't what I was thinking where he was going to go with that.
He ate two wolves one time as well.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't
that
surprise
last
me.
Camping trip took a turn.
Oh, you see, Rhett went a different direction with it. I thought I was getting like fucked by two wolves at the same time. Was where
well, there Jesus. You go. There you go. There you go.
I was thinking of Vor. I was honestly thinking of Vor thing.
That's where I went first, and then I thought, oh wait a minute, that has a more obvious reason, and then went back, and then
not even 5 minutes
okay,
into
we're back
season 2, and we've got Vor and bestiality. We are on the right track. I'm sure Squarespace is going to be beating down the door to sponsor us any second now. Any second now. So hey, guess what? We're going to try some things going forward in the show, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, to kind of spice things up a bit since we're 100 episodes into this thing. Maybe it's time to kind of, switch things up how you do them every now and again, or at least, how we handle a few things. So how, like, sometimes, like, one of us will be doing something and maybe one or two other people in the community will be doing it as well? You know how that happens? Mm-hmm. How we sometimes end up interacting with the same bits and baubles of media. You know how that sometimes happens?
Like how when I tried playing Atelier and then everyone joined in with me.
Literally everybody was playing it for a week afterward. Remember how that happened?
John, you didn't even join yourself in playing Atelier.
So, when that happens, when we notice that happening, we've decided that, hey, you know what? Maybe we're going to pull one of you on to the podcast for a little segment on that. To kind of just, hey, maybe have an opinion that's not just ours, or maybe it's a topic that needs somebody else, but that'll be more of a we'll come to you, don't come to us kind of thing. So yeah, if you're ever kind of playing around with something that we're playing around with. Might shoot you a message and say, hey, do you want to be on a podcast sometime? So be on the lookout for that. Another thing we're going to try doing, and we're also going to be doing that this episode, by the way, the whole pulling someone in for a segment thing. So we'll see how that goes. Got a dry run. You'll see how it goes. We're also, it was kind of a hit, having people record messages and send them to us. That was actually really fun when we did that in episode 100. So we've decided, let's bring back the email segment and have people send us audio messages if they want. You can also, of course, still send us normal text messages, but if you want to be on the show sort of at the end in a different way and, you know, we have the time for the segment, we'll do an email segment and pull in an audio segment. So send us something, a message, a question, something we can bounce off of, preferably, because if you're just going to send us your hot mixtape to play, I'm going to catch on really fast, all right? So, the instructions for doing that are send all audio messages to polly@socksmakepeoplesexy.net. I will repeat. All audio messages go to polly@socksmakepeoplesexy.net. Rhett, where do they go?
Polly@socksmakepeoplesexy.net, and they actually go to me.
No, those don't go to you.
Those I get podcast at socksmakepeoplesexy.net.
Yes. So if you want to send normal text emails, those go to podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net. So, Rhett, if I'm going to send an audio message to the podcast, who do I send it to?
Polly@socksmakepeoplesexy.net.
Hey, John, if I'm going to send a text message to the Sockscast podcast to be read on the air, where do I send it?
You can't send that because that's an email, not a phone number. So if you want to... Oh, well, I guess you could email, like, text. So, polly@socksmakepeoplesexy.net, or was that a trap?
It's a trap.
Oh, God.
I was like...
I thought you were trying to get me for not paying attention. I'm paying attention.
John.
Yeah?
If it is just a text email... This is a very simple fucking question.
You said text.
It wasn't even a trap. It was a simple fucking question.
And you're still getting it wrong.
Send it to polly@socksmakepeoplesexy.net.
Oh my God.
Shit.
I don't want John Thayer on my podcast. I don't want John Thayer on my podcast anymore.
Damn. It was a trap.
Rhett, where do you fucking send a goddamn email that is just to be read? Where do you fucking send it?
Podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net.
Fucking thank you. Thanks for nothing, Thayer.
Guys, just so you know, if you have a text message, you send it to podcasts@socksmakepeoplesexy.net.
There we go.
And if it's an audio message, polly@socksmakepeoplesexy.net. Right?
Yes.
Hey, Rhett, What have you been doing?
Oh, Jesus, I have to follow that.
Keep that good energy going.
Appease me! Make me feel better with the entertainment that you have entertained yourself with.
I thought I would do a quick recap of the stuff I didn't get to talk about last episode because I had a vacation and I played through a bunch of games really quickly.
All right, well, let's the Red Lightning Round has begun.
I played through Dishonored 2. I didn't like it nearly as much as the first one, which is a shame because.
Sorry, somebody said something to me directly.
Off to a great start.
Go ahead.
Played Dishonored 2, didn't like it as much as the first one, which I was a huge fan of. This one, like, the movement stuff just didn't feel as good because I was playing as Emily this time. Mm-hmm. And, boy, morality systems in games are real silly, it feels like. Because this game is just like, oh, you're going to kill them, or you're going to do the exact same thing that leaves them non-lethally impaired. Like... You can kill guys or you can choke them out, and choking them out takes like 4 seconds, but like functionally exactly the same in the end. Mm-hmm. And like, so like every move will have the kill them option, which is quicker, or the choke them out option, which is slower. And it's just like, like, I don't know how much it affects the ending and stuff. Like, and the powers in this one, they get really weird. Like for Emily, one of her abilities is to like link enemies together psychically, so that what you do to one will affect the other. So that can be neat, where it's like you tag 4 guys at once and then shoot a sleep dart into one of them, and they all pass out at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
so you can kind of efficiently maximize your use of those things. The funniest thing though is like one of the moves is like a throw, so you pull an enemy towards you. If you link a bunch of enemies together and then do that, they'll all go flying in different directions, just kind of based relatively to how you pulled the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Which is real difficult when you're trying to not kill them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I pull one towards me, and then like a bunch of other guys go flying and like fucking slam into the wall and die. And I'm like, oh, fucking see that coming.
Subtle as a fucking sledgehammer, that is.
Yeah. So I started doing a lethal run, and like 2 missions in, I was like kind of not feeling it. So I decided to do non-lethal. Mm-hmm. And then I found out that Emily's powers in general are way more fun if you're going lethal. Oh. I've heard she's kind of the lethal character, and Corvo makes more sense to do non-lethal.
Mm-hmm. That's because she's the girl, and she's too stupid to know how to do things subtly. Because she's driven by emotion. She's just letting her emotions get the better of her.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I've seen people complaining that like for the first mission of her, where you're the queen and you're being betrayed, like fucking I'm gonna kill everybody who like just turned on me.
That would probably be my my solution
also,
to that as well.
Since you have like literally no options at the start there, like doing the non-lethal in the first mission is like basically super, super hard. Mm. But then I saw people complaining about like, oh, you're penalized the whole game because then you'll be on the lethal route and it's incredibly difficult to switch over. But so I did the first couple missions lethal and then like tried as hard as I could to not kill anyone, and then on the very last mission the game clicked over to like the pacifist route, and I was like, yes, wow. I fucking did it. Like, game designers don't want you doing that, but like somehow my kill percentage dropped below 20% or something overall.
You know how I know you didn't care much for this game? Because I didn't see you talk once about it on Twitter, and you've already said more about it here than you have on Twitter.
I mean, that's more than 0. Yeah, I literally didn't mention on Twitter because I was just like, just immediately didn't feel it. Like the architecture, just the city in this one doesn't feel like it had the heart that the first game did. I don't know, just everything.
Was this one more well regarded, like critically?
I have no idea, honestly.
Like, okay. I knew that this thing came out, and I think it was just like, yo, is that a pin dropping? I think this is one of those sequels where it kind of just, it came out and people were talking about it up until it came out.
Yeah.
And then I didn't hear, it's like Hitman 2.
Aww.
Like, I know people were talking about that before it came out, and then it came out.
I've heard more about I actually, the one thing I heard about this game is that there's a mission in it that is like literally the exact same concept as the mission in Titanfall 2. Mm-hmm. There are missions in both of these games. And I've played Titanfall 2. It's bizarre that these came out like the same month, like November 2014 or something, or maybe 2015. Both these games have a mission where you have a time travel device that lets you phase between a present and past version of an area. Mm. And like, it's handled exactly the same. But the thing in Titanfall, and everyone seems to like the Dishonored version more, and I have no idea why now.
The Titanfall one is like the one thing I hear about that game is how cool that mission is.
Yeah.
The Titanfall one is cool because you have different sets of enemies in the past and present. So like if you're facing against a bunch of guys and you're about to die and you phase back into a different timeline, there might be other enemies in there so you don't immediately get like safe cover. Whereas in Dishonored, like there's only enemies in one of the timelines. So it's just like, okay, I'm going to knock this guy out and then immediately phase while all his friends run up and go like, oh, what the fuck just happened? Like a person popped out of the nowhere and choked this guy out and then disappeared. Mm. So it was just kind of a confusing map and really easy. But like just visually it is cool because you're holding up this kind of mirror in front of you so you can see both timelines at the same time as you're walking around. It's so weird that both games did that the same year though.
Yeah, and like literally just like within a month of releasing of one another.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So real quick, this is not a very lightning round anymore. Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, the remake. Mm-hmm. It's good. But
Yay!
It is exactly that same game from the late 80s.
Yeah, they did a Toki remake as well that is literally just, hey, we made that, but it's just the same exact game.
Yeah.
Like we changed it. Nothing.
So this one, I think they might have added difficulties, so I played on the normal. There is an easier one, and I have no idea if even normal is as hard as the original game was. But design-wise, there's a part at the end where I got to the second to last boss and was doing like literally no damage. And it's like, oh, you need this sword, so I go get that sword, which was like a hidden door and a dead end. You just randomly press up in this one spot,
That sure is 1980s video game.
Yeah, it was very much that kind of design of like, because if you don't know about that sword, you actually can't go back to the previous shop that has the good stuff, because in this game, like every time you beat a boss, you change forms.
Yeah.
So you can't go back to being Mouse Man to get, this one thing that you need earlier. It's like, oh, this is real rough. So I get that sword, which is the only sword in the game that for some reason lets you change forms at whim. And then, like, right before that boss on my third try, one of the enemies just randomly dropped an even better sword. And I'm just like, what?
Oh, my God.
I'm just like, for God's sakes, game. So, like, this second to last boss is by far the hardest one, because after that, like, the last boss is a total chump. I was like, oh, man.
It's one of those.
Yeah. But, man, it's so gorgeous. And the fact that you can switch in real time between the new and old visuals is really neat.
That's the big one to me, is that you have just add a button press and separately change the music.
And the old soundtrack from the Master System version.
Yeah, like the first game I ever saw do that was R-Type Dimensions.
It's such a cool effect.
I have that on 360. You can switch between like the original arcade version, and then there's like this really kind of blown out HD version you switch to on the fly. I know that Halo Master Chief Collection games did that too.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
In this one, when you press, I think it's left trigger, like it kind of does a swipe from left to right between the new and old visuals. So if you just keep mashing the trigger, it'll kind of keep sliding back and forth in the middle of the screen,
weird.
So you can just kind of see both at the same time.
That's
and it's interesting because like the hitboxes seem the same, but the perspective changes a little bit in some areas. Like the floor will be kind of made to look aslant a bit. It's very interesting. But yeah, it is that game from the 80s, which I was way too young to figure out at the time. Like I had it on TurboGrafx, and I would basically just play the first two areas and be like, okay, this is too hard now, and quit. So I think they may have made this one a little easier.
They smoothed out a little bit of the esoteric progression bullshit.
But they didn't smooth that out. Like it's just like they may have goosed the numbers a bit on like damage, but like, hey, maybe you shouldn't take like half your health on every hit.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's the Dark Souls of retro.
Yeah. That's a neat game, though. It's cool that they did a remake for something more obscure than, the usual. I guess Toki's even works here, though.
Like, Toki was just, like, even fucking weird. I think, like, isn't that the same team doing Streets of Rage 4 as well?
I have no idea.
I can't remember. Like, I think it's .emu. I'm not sure.
Oh, is kind of ringing a bell.
Oh, wow. They did all the shmup ports I really like on my phone.
Shmups on a phone.
Yeah. You just click and drag you click it, they auto fire, and then you just move the screen, they move the button around with your...
The funniest thing about this game is that, like, it goes original credits, and it's like 4 people.
4 people, and then
it's like
60 people.
Yeah, exactly that. Like, the port and remaster credits go on, like, way longer.
Yeah, that shit.
It's just crazy. Just the way game development has been blown out so much. And just how 4 people were able to make this original that was, 30 years later, people still talking about it. It's neat.
That's really cool.
And then lastly, I got a 3DS and I played Super Mario 3D Land.
Oh, yay.
That game's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, that game's cute. I just really hate the whole coin thing in the pet post game. Of like, oh, you want to get the true final level? You need 1 billion coins.
See, like, when I played that game, like, I played every level to get every coin, so it was never, like, I never got brick-walled when I was playing that, because I just wanted to get all the coins anyway. So.
See, like, I even specifically looked up online, hey, do you need the coins to get to levels 9 through 16? And people were like, nope, and then I play the game, it's like, oh, actually, yeah.
Actually, yeah, you do.
Yeah! Like, the last level I looked up, like, the last normal level is, like, 285 coins.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's every coin of the game in the regular levels, plus 5 from the bonus levels. Like, if you get every single coin, it's still not quite enough. Yeah. That's kind of ridiculous.
It's like, the fact that it's a requirement is ridiculous. I just did it because I was enjoying doing it.
I know.
But, like, when I was playing, like, let's say Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams, where they lock a bunch of that shit behind star requirements.
Yeah, like, I just hate this as a requirement in pretty much anything.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Like, it makes it... It's. I think it's fine for, like, you're playing through this game once very thoroughly.
Yeah.
Where you're like, with 3D World, I went back through every level and got all the star coins. With 3D Land, I did all the levels and bonus levels and did all the star coins. Although, with 3D Land, don't you also have to get, like, all the golden flags?
Because
I didn't know about that. I got all the coins and it didn't unlock anything, and I was like, okay, I guess I finished the game, and I never got the cool level. I was like, oh.
It's basically, I guess the end of level 16 is 285 coins, and then beyond that is 5 stars on your profile, which is like every single possible coin and the gold flag posts, and maybe some other stuff. That's the one I'm just like, no, like, I'm not even thinking about that, because the flag post is just like, oh, now I have to replay like half the game.
Like, because and like, you don't realize that the end of stages are set up to fuck you out of that golden flagpole.
Oh yeah, like, you have to have a Tanuki on a
that's kind of like my only real issue with that game, is the fact that, like, you to do basically anything in that game, you kind of always need the Tanuki suit, or it's just like, like, if you lose the Tanuki suit, go back to 1-1, grab it again.
See, I never go back. I do have fun playing with, like, the boomerang or the fireballs as, like, backup stuff. The last thing about this game, holy crap, Small Mario's voice is nightmare fuel.
I did not expect that first time I played the game.
Oh no, I was like so shocked when I first heard it, because I didn't get hit for like the first world probably, and then it happens and I'm just like, oh god, they just took regular Mario and pitch shifted it up, and it's horrible.
It sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think they'd ever done it before that game or after that game.
It's wild.
It's very, very fucking weird.
This game makes me think of Astrobot a lot, just because, like, this is a 3D platform where you don't have camera control, so it's like, it's amazing it works as well as it does, basically.
Yeah,
I think that kind of is the best way to make 3D platformers in a lot of ways. Yeah, for me, I think, like, 3D Land and 3D World are some of the best playing ones for me.
This would have been, like, they could have done this kind of game on the N64 to kind of transition to what Mario 64 became. Yeah, and I think that would have been an easier sell for a lot of people like myself, who just, I really hated Mario 64 for a really long time, because I just didn't like the whole 3D, the way that the areas were set up in 3D and how the game worked. But if you would have given me this first as kind of like a bridge, and then into Mario 64, like, I would have been totally fine.
I think developing this, though, took that knowledge of how 3D games work over, the course of 15 years to figure out, like, how could we do it without camera control.
I can see that.
And wasn't Crash Bandicoot kind of this? Like,
in a way, no. Crash was still fairly limited.
Camera?
It has a fixed camera for most of the game. It's fairly limited, yeah.
But it doesn't, like, move kind of transitionally nearly as smoothly as this does. Like, it's very either you're running towards or away from the camera, or you're on a side view.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Like, it makes 90-degree turns basically, and that's it. Yeah. Whereas in this, like, if there's an area where you're going down, like, the camera will kind of pan up and above Mario, so you're looking down.
It's so classy,
and it still makes sense control wise when you're playing it, so you don't feel disconnected in any way.
That's the thing where I think, like, this is actually, they make it look easy, but it's probably super hard.
Probably, yeah.
Also, I'm playing on a 2DS, so oops. Like, boy, is it hard to judge depth sometimes.
Really? I just used a shadow.
See, like, there's the shadow, but I think there's just subtle shading things that 3D World probably has, because it's on a way more powerful hardware. Where just sometimes I'll just jump and be like, oh, I'm on this layer, and then it's like, oh, I was like, one Mario width away from it, and I just kind of jumped into the abyss. Oops.
Cool.
But, like, not a huge deal. That game's cool.
That game's good.
I'm on World 16. I need like 22 more coins,
though.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to have to start...
Have you already cleaned out like the first 8 worlds? Because those are the easiest ones you're going to get.
No, that I just went back to World 1 to get 2 more.
Oh, right.
So I don't think I'll have too much trouble. If it was going to be much worse, I was like going to like
just fuck it,
quit.
Who cares?
Just fucking quit. But I've been very thorough in the second set of levels.
And a lot of the second set of levels is when the game actually ramps the fucking difficulty up. Finally,
when it gets really fun.
It's fun, but it's also like, oh, how many more levels are there going to be where it's a 30-second time or I'm being chased by
the fucking Mario. Yeah, the Shadow Mario levels are kind of not the best, but I didn't mind most of the other gimmicks they employ.
Just conceptually. I think Celeste did the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that concept where you're like, it's both a ghost and also an obstacle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think it's weird when people advertise this game as being like, oh, it has 16 worlds. It's like, 9 through 16 are kind of rehash levels, though.
Yeah.
Like, the vast majority of them. Like, a couple of the airship ones are new, which is nice because they're not auto-scrollers, but...
They're like, hey, there's 242 stars in Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah,
that last 120, we just kind of, I don't know, we open the editor, and I don't know, here's one. Here's another.
999 moons!
Yeah, that's basically where Odyssey got its ideas.
I know, it's actually 800 something, but then you can buy the rest.
Yep.
I think there was a conceptual shift where, like, it stopped being, here's the platformer, play through it over and over until you're good enough to get through it without game overing, and into play through the platformer, and we're going to design it in such a way that you have to play everything over and over and over again within the context of the first playthrough.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't think either of those is necessarily like better or worse than the other. Like, I very much like the retro just play it over and over again thing a lot better, just kind of instinctively. But this 3D World, I think Kirby's Epic Yarn are ones where kind of that latter style where it actually worked for me, where I was like, yeah, I'll just play it slowly. Celeste is like that too. Just play it slowly. Play every level over and over again. Find all the doodads, I guess.
Or you could just not play Celeste.
That's also an option.
I think that's a good option.
Awful option.
But yeah, I finished Celeste, and then I wasn't like, I want to replay it over and over again now, because the context of playing it, I was kind of going through levels for strawberries, doing all this stuff. They don't want you to replay it a lot like old platformers do. No. They want you to get all those replays in the context of that one playthrough, so you feel completely satisfied. Is the idea. And some of them fuck up the ratio, like Mario Galaxy or something. Where it's
Mario Galaxy was replay the entire game again as Luigi, and that's where I was just like, no, this sucks.
Well, it's just like there's no real imagination where the stars are the green stars. They're just kind of like, oh, you found one under a fucking random rock on a planetoid. Good job, Luigi.
That's fucking Odyssey.
Yeah, that's sort of where Odyssey got its ideas.
Yeah. But at least in Odyssey, you don't get kicked out of the level.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's...
the second playthrough in Galaxy, for me, was miserable. Because then it's like, oh, here's 100 purple coins. Okay, you found 99 of them. Where's that last one? Once I spent like 10 minutes finding one, I was like, I'm so out. Like,
I did not bother with any of the post-game shit in either Galaxy game, and I was 100% stoked when I finished both, because they both felt perfectly fine to me.
Yeah, I guess I didn't. I got real close to the last level in Galaxy 2. I don't think I forget how that one works, but...
I did not finish Galaxy 2, sorry. That's like the only mainline Mario besides Sunshine.
It's understandable. Like, Galaxy 2 is more boring. Galaxy 2 is more boring. Miyamoto hated the fact that the first one had a story, so he had to come in and no.
Is that true or just urban legend?
I'd have to do research, but I don't really like doing that. I don't like reading.
Galaxy 2 felt like a liminal step on its way to 3D Land, 3D World, where they just kind of went full platformer with it. Mm-hmm. That's fine, but it felt very liminal in that sense, and I don't want to go back to it after 3D Land and 3D World.
I hope they port 3D World to the Switch eventually.
It's so good, Rhett. You're going to have a great time. It's so fun. Sorry you couldn't play it.
Because they did a Nintendo Direct, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions Encore.
yay for people that wanted that, who I know are listening. But
yeah, I know a lot of people that want that.
I was just like, where's 3D World into Wonderful 101?
Because it's like the good one. Like,
it's the good one.
Oh, it's so good.
I mean, I guess they did actually put out new Super Mario Bros. U and Mario Maker this year, so I get that another one, it might be a little soon, but also it's the good one.
That last level's so good. I spent 3 hours on 3D World's last level. It's so hard.
Do you need to get every coin in every flagpole to unlock it?
Oh, it's better.
No, but how do you...
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to get every coin in every flagpole. But you have the kitty cat, so it's very easy to get most of them.
Oh,
yeah. If you can hold on to the kitty cat power up by the end of the level, you can climb every fucking flagpole.
There's one more thing where you have to beat every level with every character, but they don't require that to unlock.
Fucking that's... Oh my god.
That's Doki Doki Panic shit right there, because that's the only way you can beat Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, I did that though. Because I really like 3D World.
Yeah, but you could warp... Oh, can you warp when you're doing that? In Doki Doki?
Well, there you go. Taylor has dropped a quote from Wired.com. Says, quote, "I'd like to go with as little story as possible," he said. "I've always felt that the Mario games themselves aren't particularly suited to having a very heavy story. Even though, we've got Mario and Luigi, Super Mario RPG, Paper Mario, all three series that have real great fucking stories.
And the story stuff was like the coolest thing in Galaxy. So
yeah, like the first Galaxy has an amazing fucking narrative, and he just shits all over it.
I mean, I haven't played any Paper Mario games, but everyone loves Thousand Year Door, and they've basically ruined that series since then.
Mm-hmm.
So, oops.
Oh, yeah. Yoshiaki Koizumi and Shigeru Miyamoto fought a little bit over Galaxy 2, is what Taylor is telling us.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows. It really shows. Like that game's got a feel to it where it's just like, a lot of things got stripped out here, and we know what it all was.
God. And then I saw an interview where he shit all over Mario 3, like, of all things, just like, oh, there's a lot here that's really clunky we wouldn't have in our modern games. Just like, oh, okay, it's all the cool stuff.
Yeah, like all the actual cool stuff that makes Super Mario 3 really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like our perfect game, 3D or Super Mario World.
And Super Mario Brothers U.
Jetstorm brings up Super Paper Mario, which is like, it's one of the shittiest Paper Marios, but it has an amazing story.
Oh, really?
It's so good. It's so amazingly good.
Huh.
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. I still prefer the Thousand Year Door, but man, its story goes real fucking hard.
That's interesting, because after that, like, Sticker Star and Color Splash, like, people seem to really loathe those two.
Yeah, because it's like they have these real shitty trading card systems where you lose attacks permanently, and it's dumb.
And remember, didn't they make a game that was Paper Mario meets
they did,
Mario and Luigi?
Yeah.
And, like, literally pin drops. Like, I've never heard anyone ever mention it.
Yeah. I know somebody that played it, but I saw it, and I was just like, nope, you're not pulling me back with that garbage.
And they had Dream Team. There were so many of them.
Dream Team's boring.
And it's like 40 hours long. Like, I remember how long you had to beat it. And just being like, nope,
Dream Team is a game that I wanted to like because I liked the idea, and I thought that the things that they were doing with Luigi as kind of just being the center of this big thing, like, I thought that those were cute. But it's a game that thinks you're dumb as a rock and needs to tutorialize you on everything. Like, it gave me the badge tutorial, and then 6 hours later, it gave me the badge tutorial again. The very same fucking tutorial. And that's when I quit.
That's the follow-up to
Bowser's Inside Story, which is, again, another one of the greatest fucking Mario RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Rhett, you need to get... Bowser's Inside Story and play it because it's
I played a little bit of that when it came out and was like, this game thinks I'm an idiot.
You see, that's
yes, it does. Look, this, like, Bowser's Inside Story was like them right as they were about ready to fall into everybody that plays our games are dumb. Mm-hmm. So it does have a bit of that, but
also known as the Skyward Sword ending.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also call it the Mario Galaxy-ing.
Yeah, that's fair as well.
But yeah, I can appreciate liking something like Mario Galaxy and Bowser's Inside Story, even though it has a little bit of that, because they still had a bunch of other cool, expressive stuff going on. Whereas later ones like Sticker Star or whatnot, they even lost that.
Yeah, it's just not.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Rhett?
Oh, I don't even know. I guess that's the Mario corner.
The Mario corner.
Yeah, very lightning round up in here.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
you really knocked that out of the park real fast, Rhett. Just boom, boom, knocked
Well,
them
you
all
guys
down.
started going on Mario, and I'm like, okay, this is fun.
Fucking with you.
I like the tangents.
Did we all? So we all closely paid attention to the Nintendo Direct, right? We were all just like eyes glued to the screen.
I know what was announced, but I don't really care about
Sans Undertale.
Sans Undertale. There you go. That's what I pulled from it.
Man, I'm so mad because Giant Bomb streamed the whole thing and then cut it during the Smash stuff, so they missed that. I wonder if they even would have reacted though, because I don't even think.
Nah, I don't really think. When I think of Undertale, I don't think that's the game that connected with that group.
But Deadly Premonition 2 got some reactions.
Deadly Premonition 2, out of fucking nowhere, somebody gave Swery a whole lot of money. And I'm real fucking happy about it because Deadly Premonition 2 is gonna be real fucking good, and I'm gonna be real mad if it's Switch exclusive.
Huh.
I'll be real fucking mad.
This is your Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, but like Deadly fucking Premonition 2 is my Bayonetta 2. I'm gonna be real fucking mad.
I can't believe they pulled it again. The sequel everyone wanted on a Nintendo exclusive.
Oh my god, if that's what happens, I'm gonna be mad.
I don't know for sure if it's 100% exclusive. They seem to be a little wishy-washy on that right now. And it's not published by Nintendo.
No.
It seems to have a better chance than Bayonetta 2, which is just no, never.
Yeah.
I really like The Missing, so I'm really excited for this too. I'm happy this exists. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna really like Deadly Premonition when I get around to it.
I like it when Swery gets money to do things. I like it. I like it when Kotaro Uchikoshi gets money to do things. He just got a lot of money to do a big old project that's coming out in a couple weeks, and I'm hoping it's real good.
I love it when when Yoko Taro gets money to make a gacha game.
Yeah. Wait a minute. No. Whoops.
Wait, no.
Rising Star Games, The Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, is a Switch exclusive at launch. Other platforms are not being discussed at this stage, says the publisher.
Okay.
Maybe like a year thing or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's also funny seeing them put out Deadly Premonition Origins on Switch, and apparently they're doing a physical version of that for like $40.
Yeah.
It's like, dog, I got that on Steam for like either $6 or $3. Yeah, like it's amazing
Either
the way
way,
PC just doesn't exist.
Either way, I'm just glad Deadly Premonition's getting another shot.
I kind of wish they remastered the first game though, maybe touch it up a little bit.
Look, it's a bad game. Like, and even the touching up that they did with the special edition, it's like basically they just made the health bars look prettier.
Really?
And they made all of the combat dead fucking easy. I think like every enemy now dies in 1 or 2 shots now. He didn't want combat in the game anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So like hopefully that like I'm hoping that Rising Star has the sense to stand back and just let Swery do what he wants. If he wants to make a game without combat, just fucking let him do it. We've had enough games that have hit the big time now that don't feature combat that I think that we can do that now. This is not 10 years ago.
Yep. Oh, and Smash got a real fighting game character, and that made a bunch of people really mad.
That made me happy just because I knew Hose was gonna be mad. Terry Bogard in Smash just made me happy. Like, even when I was hearing that as a rumor, I was just, oh, please let this be there's nothing more I love than seeing Smash people pissed off. Because
it's
they're
so easy.
And it's so easy to do.
It's so easy.
But they are like one of the most deserving fan bases that deserves being trolled anyway. Them and Pokemon fans. Just kind of they both deserve
Pokemon
it.
Fans. Oh, they're so mad.
Yeah.
It's so weird about dumb stuff.
Is there a new controversy with Pokemon?
There's eternally. I think it's about animations being reused.
Animations are being reused.
Yeah, that's kind of the old one.
The national...
the National Dex controversy still rages on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can dress up the girl now.
And you're buying it for this fucking reason. As soon as you saw that you could fucking dress the girl up.
They're actually never releasing it. They're just going to keep releasing cute girls online. And
Like,
that's
they
just
should
going to be
just
it.
do that.
Man,
That
when you
would be
say
the
releasing
Pokemon-
cute girls regularly, I go, maybe I do understand the appeal of gacha.
God, there's a new Pokemon Gotcha game, isn't there?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
That
real
was very
dangerous.
quiet. That sucks.
Yeah.
That
I've
makes
heard
me
it's making
mad.
a lot of money, and then the monetization is like particularly gross in it.
Yeah,
Ugh.
they know. It's like they know kids are going to be playing this, and they're gonna more than likely go against their parents' wishes or knowledge and press some buttons every now and again.
Yeah, I'm like straight up moral panicking about that.
Yeah,
I've
like
been moral
John
panicking about
literally
that. I hate
posted.
it.
John made a mom Facebook post about this game on Facebook.
Parents, just so you know,
Yeah, he
this new
literally
Pokemon
made
game
that.
isn't nice. It does XYZ. These ones are okay, but not this one. Ugh. I hate that. That makes me mad. Also, you don't just collect Pokemon, you also collect trainers, so even in the Pokemon Gacha, you're still collecting cute girls.
Yes.
Yep.
All I know about that game is they put May in it, so there's lots of fan art of her now, which is nice.
Yes.
So I don't have to play the game.
There you go.
The less I have to play this and
You can
actually interface with it, the better.
Yeah.
You can just find JPEGs online. You don't have to gamble for them.
Yeah, yeah. They're very. You can even put them on your phone and resize them properly, and they'll be the same size that they are if you were to actually have them in a video game on your phone.
You can just set like a rotating wallpaper on your phone to cute girls from Pokemon and have just a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Nice lightning round, Rat.
Yeah.
God,
Good going.
Holly.
Well, Polly was like, Nintendo Direct? Just getting it out of the way,
Just
basically.
get it out of your systems.
Oh,
All
and
right.
How about all that Mario Maker 2 news?
Aww.
I
You were
mean-
so sad that didn't catch on as much as you wanted. I'm so sorry.
I think that they're waiting till fall.
I think they'll have more.
I think
they
that'll
literally
definitely-
said there will be one more update to the limit of levels you can upload. So
Yeah.
they can't. They did like 3 updates for the original, like item-wise.
Mm.
Oh yeah, it's not dead.
It's
There's
not
more.
dead. I don't think it's dead at all. I just think that we're gonna get fall and spring as 2 more updates or something.
Yeah, I was talking about our friend group.
Community-wise,
not
it's
catching
dead.
up as much as we wanted it to.
Right.
But like a lot of people bought it, and then it just fell off real quick.
Mhm.
Still waiting for them levels, John.
Someday. Look, I made a bunch of levels on the first one, and they were really good.
You should,
and I'm
you
just
should
like,
port them.
I could. God, I don't have my Wii U though, so I can't see them.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, Rat.
Way to bring up the sore spot memories, Rhett.
Wait, what if you go to the bookmark website? Could you see them in the little JPEG image they have?
Don't worry, Rat. I'm way ahead of you. That is what I did, and that works. Except for one level, which involves the bottom going through the pipes, and then you don't see that part. So that level I can't.
You're halfway there.
But one of them, a couple of them, I can recreate, and I'll do that
That's
eventually.
hilarious.
But yeah.
Honestly, recreating stuff in that game seems like mind-numbingly boring.
Yeah.
Like when I see people doing like, "Hey, it's 1-1,"
1-1, but with
because one of my level ideas was 1-1, but with, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to sit there and just look at a JPEG of 1-1 and remake this in Mario Maker. That's boring.
I just want a really long airship level that's at the double speed. That just makes me. That's all I want in the world.
One of the dumb fun things I did with Poly Mario Brothers was I kept teasing Mario like 1-1 remakes, but like with various little pieces every now and again, but never did it. I never hard committed to it. Like I always would have like that starting like configuration of bricks and a Goomba, or just like something that would feel similar later in the level, but I never hard committed on doing it like the whole level.
I'm just happy I have a thing I can load up when I want to play Mario that's actually like cool, interesting levels.
Yeah,
not Super Mario U.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone says that one is so good. That was like the most boring, bland fucking game I ever played. Just like
coming out.
Oh my god! I don't remember anything from it. Like, ugh.
Well, you see, Red, it's the most polished and cohesive Mario game, really, because
So
it doesn't have
ugly.
any parts that are bad. Therefore, it's really good. Therefore, it's the best one.
Yeah, it's like it's polished to a fault, basically. I guess is what. But then there's dumb shit like when you die, it doesn't just kick you back to the checkpoint or the start of the level. It kicks you back to the map again.
Yeah.
In case you want to leave. It's like, so like, you know how people bitch about restarts in Mario Maker being too long on the really hard troll levels?
Uh-huh.
This one's like even longer because you get kicked back to the map every time.
You kick back to the map, move back to the level, wait for the level card, then get back into the level.
That's how Mario 3 did it, though. Therefore, we have to do it that way forever.
See, right? Mario 3 didn't have checkpoints in the levels,
exactly.
So
Mario 3's levels were like 15 to 30 seconds long.
They're way shorter.
Got real cool about that shit.
Okay, I think this is enough of the Nintendo corner.
All right.
Polly,
yo,
what you got?
What do I got? I got a guest.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm going to pull our guest in. See,
we've been
I didn't give them the warning that I was calling either. I was just like, I just pressed the call button, and I'm hoping that they don't mind that I did that.
There she is. There they are.
Penis energy.
Penis energy. It's Rhett's rap name. Penis energy.
There's a callback for you.
Excellent.
That's really early in our Sockscast career. That was a Parasite Eve reference.
Jeez.
Taylor, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good.
I think it's been quite a while since you've shared the Sockscast stage with us. Think of how long it's been.
I don't think I've ever been on the podcast with all three of you at once, because the last time I was a guest, I was filling in for Polly.
Yeah, I was in the literally, I'm not doing it. I'm literally not fucking doing it, and you can't make me do it. So hey, we brought you on because hey, we're trying this new segment where somebody has indulged in a piece of media. We might pull them in to talk about it with us, and I know that just like me, you're probably a fan of a band named Tool.
Oh, we're not talking about Love Live School Idol Festival?
Oh shit. Damn, did I pull the wrong did I call the wrong guest again?
No, I am indeed a fan of Tool.
And it's been a while since our boys in Tool have released an album. It's been 13 years, in fact.
Oh my god.
13 years since 10,000 Days.
I was about to say, has it been 10,000 days?
No.
No, that's a little over 20 years, I think.
Okay. Damn.
More like 5,000 days.
Yeah. But they released a new album called Fear Inoculum. And I guess we're going to let Taylor start, since you are our guest. What is Fear Inoculum?
Oh boy, Fear Inoculum. I don't even know if Tool... I don't even know if Tool knows entirely what Fear Inoculum was.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling that I get from this album.
So I'm going to open up with, I like the album. I would say that this album is better than 10,000 Days.
Mm-hmm.
But
Brad's favorite.
I would call this album long-winded.
Oh boy, yeah. This thing digitally, if you're listening on something like Spotify, this is an 86-minute album.
Great.
And the physical cuts 3 interlude tracks, which are pointless anyway.
My Spotify playlist has also cut 3 interlude tracks.
And the physical versions are a nice slim 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 14 seconds.
About as long as you can possibly put on a single CD.
Yeah, they kind of have a tendency to do that. They kind of always go for hitting that mark as often as they can. Like, I think, like, Anima and Lateralis and 10,000 Days all hit the 79-minute mark.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they all... Yeah, Tool makes, long albums, but when you're talking about an album like this, there are 6 songs that are 10 minutes, 3 seconds or longer.
Yeah. And they are all mid-tempo, barely rising above a roar. Like, these songs all kind of just have that meditative quality to them where they're just very light, very airy, very elevator music-y to a degree, I think.
They sound like three old stoners made a record over the course of 13 years, and then Maynard sang over it.
Yeah. I would say that like Tool. This is Tool's greatest hits compilation, but it's just a compilation of various riffs and styles they've already done from other albums.
It's very distinctly Tool. I mean, I said I thought that Fear Inoculum and Pneuma wouldn't have been out of place on Lateralis, for example.
Yeah, like those, like, and I think Pneuma, like, of all of the mid-tempo slog that this album has, I think Pneuma is kind of the highlight track of everything before Seven Impest.
Seven Impest. It's spelled like Tempest, but they replaced the T with a 7 because the album's about the number 7, I guess.
Yeah, they
do. Seven Impest.
Seven Impest. That's what we're calling it.
I hate that.
I mean, it's a great song.
Tempest.
It's a great song, but yeah. So I find that Fear Inoculum and Pneuma are good, and I think that Culling Voices and Seven Impest are good. And, Chocolate Chip Trip has a decent drum solo in it.
Yeah, like, I like Chocolate Chip Trip just for that. And the fact that it's only 4 minutes and 48 seconds.
Yeah, and then you have Invincible and Descending. And Descending especially sticks in my craw because this is a song they've been nursing and sort of previewing live riffs up for basically since like the tour after 10,000 Days, and I'm like, guys, you gotta know when to give up on something because the song is not good.
It's not working. It wasn't working then. It's not working now. This is like if Radiohead were to take Lift and now actually do a proper studio version of it, wouldn't fucking work after 23 fucking years. That's kind of what this song did. It's just like, you've got, like, this thing that it's like, oh, it's Tool doing a new thing on their live shows now. And then 13 years later, you get it, and it's just like, oh, good.
Yeah,
it's invincible.
The last 5 minutes or so are just riffs from The Grudge in a different time signature.
Yes! They literally are. And fucking, is it Descending or Invincible, which is literally just Schism Part 2?
That might be Invincible.
Like,
so,
when we get to Invincible, Descending, and Culling Voices, this whole thing fucking runs together for me.
Yeah, no, there's a big... I will say that I like this album overall, I think, but there's a big, like, middle of the album lull.
Yeah, and it is 30 minutes long.
Yeah, because, I mean... Yeah, the issue when you have an album with 45 minutes of good music that's also 86 minutes long. Yeah, so I personally think that there's a lot of this album that needed to have been fixed in the arrangement stage.
Yep.
Because it's not like the riffs or the lyrics or anything about it is particularly offensive, but once you hit the start of Invincible and you realize that you have to get through Descending to get to Culling Voices and Seven Impest,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this album is a bit much to handle all at once.
Yeah, like, this is an album that is very hard to get through start to finish, and which is funny because there's another album that I have been listening to on and off that is also over the 70-minute mark, and I in no way feel that album has that issue. That's an album we will be talking about at a later date.
Yeah, I mean, this is all, like I said, this album's problem is the arrangement. Like, a lot of these songs could have used with less repetition and less jam band.
Yeah, like, that's sort of where I'm at with this album. Is it like, even when Tool goes really ponderous and weird on even 10,000 Days, it feels like it's part of the structure. This album feels like a dad jam band, a really good dad jam band, mind you. Got together.
I mean, they're pretty much all dads now.
Yeah, they got together and they decided to put on a real good show, but they didn't actually curate anything, and that's really what pains me about this, is that I know they did, and this is the best they came out with. but it doesn't like it just feels like scraps to me. Everything feels like ideas that are kind of just patched and stitched together. I don't think many of these songs feel like, even when they're going through their changes, like they were ever part of the same composition at all. It almost feels Metallica at some point, where they just kind of go in the studio. We have these bits and sorry, somebody subscribed.
Oh,
and real good with real good timing.
Bring up Metallica.
Yeah, it was literally when I brought up Metallica, but like they kind of Metallica'd it together with various pieces of songs that may be songs, and then we pulled them all together to make a song. A lot of this album feels that way to me, where it feels really disconnected and disjointed and not very focused, even though it kind of rides this same fucking wave of mid-tempo sludge all the way up through until the end, and then they close with the song that I actually want to hear.
Yeah. So, I mean, imagine the Coheed and Cambria record from last year compressed into 6 real songs.
Oh God, I don't know if I could do that, because you see, I can listen to the Unheavenly Creatures like straight through as many times.
So
as
can
I can listen through I can listen through Good Apollo Volume 1 any number of times you want me to. But when you condense it but if you were to smush that down into 7 tracks, we might have a problem.
Yeah, it's. I don't know, man. It's not like I wasn't. It's not ear poison or anything.
No, it's absolutely not. There are a lot of things about this album that I like, but when I look at it as an album, and like this is me. Like, I always look at things from like the entire experience. Like, I'm not one of those people that can take away one song and just be like, oh right, well at least I got that. Like, I need everything to kind of work as a cohesive unit, and I don't feel that this album does that, because it's just too much of the same thing. And then the song that I want to hear. And it's too much of the same thing that they've done in previous albums that they've done better. Like, so much of this is Tool replays the hits, but they're not the exact songs. They're kind of playing bad versions of them.
It's a B-side collection.
I could see these being B-sides from every era of Tool.
Yeah,
at least starting with Lateralis. Like, a lot of this is very Lateralis-y. It's got that ponderous kind of feel to it.
Yeah, imagine the last 4 songs of Lateralis. They made an album that's kind of like that.
Oof. Oh my least favorite part.
Yeah, that would be kind of a lot.
Reflection, Disposition, Triad, those other songs, whatever they're called.
I've listened to a bunch of Tool the last couple weeks. I've listened through Undertow, Anima, and Lateralis a bunch, and I think Anima is my favorite.
Yeah, Anima I think is like, in terms of just like an album structure, start to finish. I think that like that is the one that kind of just it works the best for me.
Yeah, and it's the funniest. I appreciate that.
It's a pretty funny album.
It's very funny.
Yeah, like the creepy song about making weed brownies without eggs.
Yeah.
Yes. The extended long ponderous part that ends with the comedian section about drugs are great.
Yeah, like
that's very funny.
I think drugs have done some good for us. I really do.
Yeah, and if you don't believe that, take all your CDs, tapes, and burn them, because all the music that has enhanced your lives that was made by people who were real fucking high on drugs.
I tried to do that R roll and I couldn't, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it's Bill Hicks, by the way. That's from his Arizona Bay show. Which was still worth looking up, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious. Unfortunately, I do believe no footage exists of the concert tour where Bill Hicks opened for Tool.
Yeah, he was an opener.
So they were friends going way back. I believe he had either recently died or was sort of imminently dying when Anima came out.
Yeah. The Anima is dedicated to him, I believe.
Yeah, so that
and there's a picture. One of the pictures of one of the paintings inside the Anima case is of Bill Hicks. So,
Oh,
yeah, there's a lot of stuff I don't. There's a lot of stuff I don't own physical anymore.
Yeah.
Because Lateralis is when I get really excited. The track Lateralis is really good.
Oh man, yeah, that track is fucking amazing.
It's one of their better songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I realized, God, there's a lot more album left. That's weird.
I have a misprint CD of Lateralis.
So do I. I got it the day it released, so mine is spelled wrong.
Lateral is.
Yep.
Yep. That's if you ever find yourself in a used record store sometimes, look for Lateral is.
Yep.
It's not really worth anything because there was like the first million copies were wrong, but it's a curious piece of history, I suppose.
Yep. Yep. So final thoughts on the Tool album. I don't think I'm going to get a lot of listening out of this. I think it's going to go, I think that once I've listened to it a few more times, it's going to go in the collection and kind of just, I don't look for this on my top 10 list at the end of the year, I don't think.
What?
Yeah, you see, I could just take a screenshot of what my Spotify playlist section looks like right now, and you would see that 2019 is already pretty crowded.
Yeah, and after 5, literally with the take that Rhett took away from this Tool album is a Tool album.
Oh no, it's not like
you know what you're getting into. This isn't going to convince you one way or the other. This is a Tool-ass Tool album.
It's not like how Fall Out Boy apparently started making EDM once they decided that their old shitty music wasn't popular enough anymore. They needed to make some new shitty music.
And it worked. And it worked. People still love them.
And their bass player is still a pedophile.
Yep. Oh no. Yep. It's real bad. Real bad.
Yeah, that album that made them famous, he was like 24 dating a 15-year-old, and that's what that album's about.
Yep.
Have fun with those nightmares.
Enjoy that.
At least he's not. No, I won't spoil that joke. I'll save that joke for the God is in the Podcast Omake episode. Because I was about to use the same joke twice, but about a different musician.
Final thoughts on Fear Inoculum, Rhett?
I mean, I kind of have the same thoughts you guys do of I do like Invincible actually though, but then after that, there's a big gap before Seven Tempest.
You said you were going to call it Tempest.
I know, I did it for you so you'd know which one I was talking about. But
it's just what's that?
I start listening to this album and I go, this is pretty good. And then the first 2 tracks are good, and the third one falls off a bit, and then it just falls off a cliff.
It just keeps falling off of the cliff until Seven Tempest.
It
falls off of it.
Becomes very hard to maintain interest when the songs are just so long and so not going anywhere.
Ponderous.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a possibility that there's going to be a Sun album on my top 10. So it's not long and ponderous. That's my problem necessarily.
No, that's not the issue.
It's just long for the sake of being long is kind of the problem.
Yeah, I got the impression that they just really like seeing the CD player hit 79 minutes. It's back when it's like a story back when Dream Theater were recording 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, and that was originally going to be one song before they split it up. And my partner was just like, I got to a point to where seeing the CD player hit 42 minutes felt just like a novelty, so we split it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, maybe that's the best decision. They originally this album was originally going to be one long ass song though.
Yeah, that's what the weird ass point distorted shitty sounding interludes are for, was scraps from when Danny Carey wanted this to be one unbroken 86-minute track.
Huh.
Yeah, did I mention that the interludes available on the digital versions also just sound like shit?
Yeah, they're not good. They're not interesting in any way.
Yeah,
hey, speaking of interludes, before we let you go, Taylor, me and you have something coming out next Sunday, more than likely. We recorded the 2nd episode of God is in the Podcast.
Yes, as I earlier referred to it, and yes, we are covering Marilyn Manson's breakout album, interestingly enough.
Yep.
The Smells Like Children remix EP compilation thingamajig.
Yeah, so if you want to get on the train and know what that sounds like, and just in time for us to review it, look yourself up. Marilyn Manson Smells Like Children.
It's not as
quite a
good.
name.
It's not as good as Fear Inoculum.
It's not as good as Fear Inoculum. Well, Taylor, thanks for stopping by. This was a pretty good test run for how we want to kind of do portions of the show in the future sometimes when this kind of thing pops up. And it definitely let us expand on a topic we don't really get to expand on a lot. We don't really get to talk about an album in this way that often. So it was actually really cool for me. So I didn't have to fucking monologue about music for the first fucking time.
I mean, I think we're only a few weeks out from the new Chelsea Wolfe album, so maybe you and Rhett can chit-chat about that, too.
Yeah, we might have to have you back for that.
Air.
We might have to have you back for that, but
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, and we're gonna get this podcast rolling past this music stuff that people always hate when I bring up.
When I said a few weeks, I apparently meant 5 days from now.
Oh shit! Yeah, that is
shit.
literally out in 5 days, isn't it?
It'll be out in time for the next Sockscast.
Well, hey, we might already have our next guest segment planned.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, I'll let you guys go. Have
Later,
fun with
Taylor.
the rest of y'all's Sockscast.
Have a good
Bye, Taylor.
Bye-bye.
Whew, hey, that was fun.
That was nice.
I got to talk about music
And then actually talk about it.
and actually talk about it.
I can't believe there's a new Chelsea Wolfe album.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I'm going to pre-order it
acoustic.
right now. It's called Birth of Violence.
Yes, and it's an acoustic album.
Oh.
But I've already heard a couple of songs from it, and it sounds real fucking good.
Oh, you kind of could have killed it for me.
Oh, no.
No,
I mean,
it's
I'll
good,
still buy it,
Rhett.
but-
Rhett, trust me, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. It's gonna be good. You're not gonna.
It's very different from
It is different.
her last couple albums.
It's different, but yeah, she's also done an acoustic album before. She knows what she's doing. Just
okay.
trust me.
Okay.
Just trust me. John!
Hi.
What you wait.
What you been doing? What you been doing?
The new Luca DLC came out.
Hey, I know that game.
Boy.
It's a big free DLC update for Luca Born of a Dream.
Hey,
Yeah?
yeah.
And it is called The Descent, and it's basically an hour-long enemy gauntlet.
Is it a roguelike?
Nope.
Because
It
see,
is.
that's what it sounded like when I read the description of it on the Steam page. I was just like,
No.
it sounds like a roguelike in a way.
No, this is like Overwhelm, where you could easily see it being sort of a generic roguelike type thing.
Mhm.
Instead, it's just very, very meticulously balanced and scripted and designed to be just one continuous action game.
One
where you're going up
continuous,
these-
very mean action game.
Yep.
Is the corruption a part of this mode?
It's a part of this mode. It's more deeply felt in this mode than it is in the rest of the game.
Oh, fucking
because,
for real?
Yeah, because in the rest of the game, you have, in New Game Plus, you have access to you can jump back to the start of a chapter, and your corruption will go back to where it was at the start of that chapter. So in the main game, the corruption is less like Dragon Quarter and more like you just need to S rank every chapter to finish the game. And I think it's still a cool framing device for that, but it sort of steps away from that Dragon Quarter thing.
Okay.
In this, it is just an hour-long action game, and if you hit your and it goes up a lot faster.
Yeah, I kind of figured if it was kind of like a scripted thing, it would probably have to go up faster if it was shorter than the main game.
Yep. And your rank when you beat battles, if you get high ranks, it lowers your corruption, and that's true too, and it lowers it more.
Oh, okay. So there's a good way of keeping it balanced here.
Yep.
Okay.
So for me, playing The Descent is I spend about 2/3 of it basically keeping it at 0 because I'm really good at the game. And then it just starts climbing up real fast. And of course, because it's doing the Dragon Quarter thing, you have access to a super powerful transform move where you can deal a lot more damage and break enemies really easily, but your corruption meter starts climbing up real quick. So the balance is, all right, when can I afford to use this super powerful move? And
like if I'm good at if I know the next part of the game, say I've failed this before and I know that I'm good at those parts, I can go super powerful mode and just face roll this fucking part here and not have a problem.
Just like Dragon Quarter.
Yeah.
And then for me, the arc of it was I'd get to a section in the Descent and it would be like 2 endgame bosses at the same time. And I'd just be like, oh, I can't beat this. This is impossible. And I'd transform and then beat it. And then the game kept going for like 8 more floors, and escalating significantly farther. And I got to a point where I could beat that part that seemed impossible just without transforming. So I'd be fighting these 2 endgame baddies at the same time and successfully doing my parries, having a good time.
Well, parrying looks to be like a big old factor in whether you're going to enjoy that game or not.
Oh, it's the whole game. Like it is the parrying
like
game.
Like you literally have to be able to parry everything, it sounds like.
I think you can maybe muddle through the main game. Maybe. It doesn't seem fun to me. Everything is much slower. Because when you parry, you can end enemies in like a couple hits.
Right. Because they go into break mode and you break it. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Like, parrying's the whole game. Like, for the Descent, I was just like, I want to learn the parry timing for every single enemy. And then I'm going to try to nail parries for every single enemy. And it lets you do that. So, and the parry feels better than any other action game I played.
Oh,
so
wow, that's some praise there.
I mean, the competition in my head is Revengeance.
Okay, that's a
Dark
good parry.
Souls.
Sekiro
is all about the parry, too.
That's the one that sounds like you should play next. Is like, hey, if you like parries, From Software made a game that's literally, all parries.
That's the thing, I didn't like parries until I played Luca. Like, I got through Dark Souls without parrying at all.
Oh, it's totally different from that. Like, it's so much faster.
Okay, cool. So, and Ys 8.
Ys 8 was great.
And Breath of Fire, and not Breath of Fire, Breath of the Wild. And Breath of the Wild, I just learned the parrying at the immediate start, and then the combat was completely trivial for the rest of the game. Because
I played a game with parrying too. I can't wait.
Yeah, like I literally got to the final boss, and they have like this super dramatic moment where like, now the boss is invincible in Breath of the Wild. Oh, how are you gonna do it? And you just parry him.
Oh, okay. Good.
So Breath of the Wild assumes you can't parry. Luca very much demands it.
That's probably okay. Yeah, Poncho says parry. That's the thing I really don't like doing in games. That's probably why you only got like an hour in Luca, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's Luca. That's what it is, and it feels great. I like parrying in this game more than anything else.
You know what I hate about parry systems, though? How like when they introduce them in games, they always do it with enemies that attack really, really fucking slow, so you never fucking can do it right. Like, Dark Souls does this all the time, where it's just like,
faster is easier.
Here's how to parry, and then you got an enemy that literally, like, takes 8 years to attack you, and when they do, they have a wind-up that's 9 years long, and then they finally drop the sword, and it's like you're playing Kingsfield on PS1.
I think we're thinking of, like, the exact same zombie soldiers in Dark Souls who just lift their sword up over their head.
And just kind of drop their arm.
And then bring it down, like, 3 seconds later. It's the worst.
It's like, you can't parry that!
That's the fun thing in Luca. That's the fun thing in Luca is that most of them are fast parries, but then they will have one where there's like a second delay, and they're deliberately balanced to be like harder because when you have to wait longer, it's harder because the timing that you're keeping in your head from the start of the animation to when you parry is more. There's more variability there,
and the more nuanced you are with your telegraphs, the more fun those systems are.
Yeah,
like
and
you have to be
real,
and you have to be real consistent with that shit. I think that if you have, say, an indication that an enemy is going to attack, like they're going to flash or something, if the enemy doesn't attack within like the same kind of time frame after that flash, then your parry system feels stupid to me. It feels pointless and inconsistent if you're not.
Yeah, Luca is Luca's extremely specific. Like, I got to a point where I could consistently parry almost every enemy. Then it'll have a couple of the bosses so there's a lot of them where it's very slow, and that's the challenge. And then there's just a couple where they have just very tight windows for, like, dramatically appropriate enemies. And those are also really fun because you're just tense as hell, just waiting, and then go boom.
Right.
Parry. Tom mentions that Luca's incredible, so I'm glad Tom enjoys it too.
I just bought a new game on Steam.
Okay, is it related to?
I don't know. You'll just have to look later, won't you?
All right, cool. Okay. But yeah, this is inspired by Bayonetta's Gauntlet mode, as I understand it, which literally ends with you fighting like 3 of the.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's the lady in Bayonetta?
Jean.
Oh, Jean.
Where you like fight 3 Jeans at once at the end.
Yeah.
What?
There's a Gauntlet mode. It's real stupid.
Yep. So if there's one crit, it's basically there's a certain number of floors in the descent, and then you hit this like absolutely insane challenge of like the certain number of enemies of end game enemies at the same time, and it's just like, this is insane. Why are you making me do this? I was like screaming, why? Why, Colin? Why are you doing this to me, Colin?
Did you go to his Discord and literally yell at him?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And then at one point he was like, you can back up your save outside of the game if it's too hard for you. And I was like, oh, thank you.
You can be a little pussy if you want.
You can be a little. I also made it really hard for myself because I deliberately chose a build that is less effective because it's more fun for me.
Well, yeah.
So there's a new game. So like when you finish New Game Plus, you get something that makes an accessory that makes the corruption go down slower, and I didn't equip that. There's a familiar that lets you heal your character at the cost of all your charge.
Oh.
And it's a little broken, and I just didn't use that because I don't like it. And there's also the strongest form that you get after beating the first loop, and I didn't use that.
Tell Colin if I ever play this game, I'm going to yell at him too when I'm mad at it.
So I basically just got the Thanatos, like Jetstorm said. Like
Jetstorm just said.
Because it's the Zwei Hunter. It's very slow and ponderous, but then it takes out. You parry a boss, hit him with a heavy attack Thanatos, and it takes out a third of their health. It feels great.
I love that you just described a sword attack as ponderous. Because it's real funny. I love the idea of swinging a sword and just kind of going into slow motion and just kind of like the sword's still moving in the air, but you stop and do the thinking emoji.
So if I have one criticism, it's that it hits that perfect climax, and then there's a checkpoint, and then there's another boss.
Wait, there is a checkpoint?
At the very end, but it makes sense. It's like they have a cool spectacle ending that makes sense for the story.
Or they just real afraid of somebody dying during the spectacle ending and have to redo the whole thing.
And then putting something through their monitor.
Yeah, because it is. I got to the end of the real game like 3 times. I got to out of like 100 fights. I got to the last 2 or 3 fights like 4 times before I beat the game. It was wild.
That seems fair to me. That seems fine.
It's completely fair. It's just like a 1cc.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You're doing a 1cc challenge.
You're playing a very condensed version of this very large game. You're playing an arcade machine, basically.
It's arcade mode Luca, which is great.
I'm totally on board with that. That's a cool idea.
Yeah. It's exactly what I wanted out of the action of Luca, which it couldn't give as much out of the nature of being a more long-form game.
Because it was being ponderous.
Exactly.
Is that the word of the episode?
That's the word of the episode, I think.
and because it does cool, varied stuff with the storytelling and the setting. Like, it does a lot of cool stuff with that by not focusing purely on the action in the main game. So having this, though, is like, okay, this is the flavor I was also sort of after. Now I'm satisfied from all angles. But it very much hits like a complete formal climax and ends, and then there's a spectacle fight afterwards, which has its own checkpoint. And it makes sense. The pacing makes sense to me. It doesn't feel like I got cock blocked for what I was after. It's just like, oh, okay, I see what you did. I see why that's important, even if it, to me, just aesthetically.
Like, it's not the direction you would have personally gone, but you can still kind of respect what it's doing.
That's kind of how
it didn't really diminish it for you as a whole.
No. But like once I got to that point and realized there was a checkpoint, I was just like, oh, thank God. oh, fuck. Oh, man. But then to me, like, that should be the end when I have that. Oh, God, thank fuck. But
yeah, like I should be having that moment of catharsis when everything's over.
Yeah, instead it was 45 more minutes of game because the boss was really hard. And then it goes in a crazy direction with the story that I thought was pretty delicious, by the way.
That's cool.
It has its own little story within this arcade mode that's told in text interludes that played once and then don't play again. So it's very well done.
Smart.
So yeah, I really liked Luke of the Descent. There's one other little action game I can chew through while we're here.
Go for it.
I played through all of Chantilly's.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh! I saw somebody talking about this on Twitter today, and they were a little,
heated.
I'll say things were a little heated.
I feel this game definitely comes Sockscast recommended, though. Polly, me, and Iffy all played it. Iffy, one of our 2 reviews on Steam.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Oh, no! Come on, drop it, John! Let's do it. Let's make some people mad.
So Chantilly's. It is a 2006 game. It's clearly by a small team.
Yeah.
It's full 3D.
It's very ambitious, yeah.
That's very cool. You don't see it makes me realize, okay, a small team can make an action game that feels great in 3D. And that's fantastic.
They're very much going for like a Threads of Fate kind of feel, I think, with that game too.
Like
it's very PS1.
Are easy because I haven't played Threads of Fate yet, but yeah. So.
Oh, you just said it though. It's very easy.
It's very easy.
Yeah. No, it is not easy, but it is ease-esque. So it feels great. It looks great. It makes me like happy because I'm like, oh, okay, so a small team can make a 3D action game that feels good, and that's really kind of important to me. That was very inspiring to me.
Yeah, like cool. That's a cool thing to know, that like you don't need 8 million people to make something that would look like Crash Bandicoot or something.
Exactly. So, and also I like the story. It's like it's sort of a
very
RPG
cute.
Maker. It's got this kind of RPG Maker melancholy to it.
Yeah.
That I appreciate. Like, it starts off very charming and sweet, and then at the end it has kind of a one chapter of like, of it feeling like kind of sad in a way that didn't feel like just melodramatic. It felt earned for what that story was doing.
Yeah.
But it's a very small story, but I appreciated what it did. All of my problems with this aren't with like sweeping issues. Not like, oh, they just needed more time to get it the way they needed. They needed more money to get the fighting working right. They needed more money to make the environments look good. All of my problems with it are things that could have been very easily avoided.
Yeah, they needed better
brain.
They needed better ideas.
They needed better ideas. They needed better thinking.
See, I know what you're talking about, and I had issues here as well.
The whole structure of the game is that you don't level up with experience points. You level up by getting equipment. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
You get equipment by buying it in shops or finding it. You collect money by killing enemies. All makes sense, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You collect pitiful amounts of money from collecting enemies. You will never get enough money to buy useful shit by killing enemies. You'll occasionally get random treasures that you can sell. But mostly from killing enemies, mostly all the economy and all the collection is by finding treasure chests in the wild.
Yeah.
So, once you get to a boss, if you don't have a good build, the boss is impossible.
Yep.
If you have the correct build, which requires you to get the correct doodads, then the boss is easy. So the entire game is about finding the stuff to make your right build or collecting the money. And all that is collecting treasure chests that trigger when you do obtuse shit in the levels.
Yeah.
That's the game. That's the whole game, is figuring out what obtuse shit they want you to do in the levels. And I went 3 worlds without even realizing that this was a thing you can do.
Stand on this flower and jump 3 times.
Hit this pillar with your sword. Hit the boss with your fishing pole. Go through the level in under... stand in this place and walk halfway up the stairs that enter the level within 20 seconds.
It's very esoteric and stupid.
And they have a hint
Listen,
system.
it's a game from 1989, remade in a new engine.
2006!
But
It is a game from 1980.
It's that energy.
It is a game from 1989, built on technology from 1996, released in 2006.
It is Simon's Quest in spirit.
Simon's Quest 3D.
You can go to the priest and pay max HP to get hints. You can lose max HP, which is very precious, to get hints, which are not helpful.
They're not good. They're
very
terrible.
Poorly translated, or they just weren't helpful in the first place.
Okay, I will say, confession, like, now that you say that, I think I never actually paid for them. I just looked at a list of what was available.
Or
I
save your game,
I guided
buy them, and then revert your save.
Or that, yeah.
I guided the shit out of this game.
Because there's no other way to do it. Because it's so fucking obtuse. It is, and that's the whole game, because the only thing that matters is getting the right build for these bosses.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're impossible. And you don't know for sure if they're supposed to be really hard, or if you just don't have the right build. And you spend the whole game wondering, is it supposed to be this hard, or do I just not have the right build? And so every single boss, I spent like 45 minutes trying to beat it, and going, no, there's no way. There's something else. And then I went online, looked around. Okay, there's something else. And I got to the next boss. Maybe this one's supposed to be this hard. It was never supposed to be that hard. It's a miserable structure. It was constantly like making me feel like just doubting my reality. I didn't know at any point whether I was doing it right.
Yeah, like, as a player, I feel that a game, you should at least be able to tell at some point, am I doing this right?
And I never felt like that. I spent the whole game wondering, am I doing it right? Please, am I doing it right? I don't know. What do you want from me, Chantilly's? I don't know. I hate it. And then there's this weird thing where to beat a level, you have to beat all 6 areas in one go. Mm-hmm. And they give you a practice mode so you can practice each individual section on its own. You complete a level by beating all the enemies in the level. This unlocks the door, and the door stays unlocked on further playthroughs. So in practice, you just beat all the levels up to the boss, and then you just run through the levels leading up to the boss, and it takes about a minute, and it's brain dead. So it's like, why are you making me? Why don't you just have checkpoints in the first place? If I could just walk through the level around all the enemies. So like that was annoying from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason for that. And yeah, I figured I spent the whole game not sure thinking the game was just impossible. There's something. And I finally get to the end, and then, the Dark Crystal, if you charge attack an enemy, it heals your life to full. Oh, okay. Fine.
Tell them the description of the item, though.
And it's coy. It's like, this is gonna like curse you. It'll be like a cursed item in Dragon Quest, and it's just a regular item that does something really useful.
They fucking just tell you that the item's cursed, and you know what? Don't bother using it.
Oh my god! I saved my game, equipped it, tried it a bit, and then I didn't realize that. This is what I didn't notice the effect because it just seemed like it was doing like a pitiful amount of damage, and I was like, well, this doesn't matter. And of course, the only reason I found the Dark Crystal is because I was staring at a guide, and with a lot of the guides, I knew exactly what I had to do to get this chest to trigger, and I still couldn't do it. There's at least one where I had to watch a video, watch it happen, try to make it happen in the game, and it wouldn't happen. And I was just like, how can I figure this out? In what universe can I figure this out? And most of the esoteric treasures suck anyway.
They do. They're not good.
Wait, really?
It's mostly you're mostly just ticking off boxes.
Oh my god. And then like for half the game, it wasn't marking the chest as gathered when I did it in practice mode, and then halfway through it just started doing that. It also took me an hour and a half to get the controller working.
Oh god, I remember this. This was a struggle.
It's a game from 2006.
It was so hard.
Controller support was bad back then.
Yeah,
oh my
it was
god,
pretty bad.
I didn't realize how thematically consistent my experience getting the controller working was with playing Chantilly's. It basically was just the whole game in microcosm in those first hour before I even got to play it.
You'd already experienced the game and didn't know it.
It's the same emotions, the same like, oh fuck, is this even gonna work? I don't know. Maybe I should just give up. I don't. Maybe I need to watch a YouTube video. No, that's what I was doing though. Oh, this thing says I need 300 HP. I don't want to grind for that much. Hell, oh god, how do I even grind? I don't know how to grind for money. This is impossible. I don't know what to do. Oh, thank god I beat it. Oh god, I'm free.
So you're saying you loved it?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go play their other games now. I'm really excited for that.
Their other game is Racketeer, John.
I am so excited to play Racketeer. I've been excited to play Racketeer for a decade. I'm not excited to play Racketeer anymore. That died.
John,
that joy in me died.
Way different. It's a way different game.
It's a way different game, but it does have that dungeon element that can really make or break it at times.
That dungeon element is way less the game, though. Like, that's kind of all optional, isn't it?
No.
Like, there's the post game in there. I don't remember doing a ton of the.
I don't remember it being this hard. I don't remember it being this bad. I don't understand. You guys can't be trusted. You played in 2006.
I played Chantilly's.
Can't be trusted.
I played Chantilly's after Racketeer and was like, oh, they expanded the dungeon stuff and it's way harder. Also, the dungeons in Racketeer are top-down. Like, it's way simpler.
And they're randomly generated, too, I believe.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing, is that the aesthetic and feel of the fighting in Chantilly's is the best part, and Racketeer doesn't have that. It's just a regular top-down 2D game.
It's
great.
The worst part.
Oh,
but
no.
That's what I'm saying. The shop is the game.
Yeah, like, the shop stuff is the most fun to interact with, and, like, the character interactions are really nice and cute, but...
God, I really love the
boy, the dungeon stuff. Like, I had to stop playing that game because it deleted my save file and I was really far in, and then I never went back to it.
Karami, for what it's worth, the thing said 300 HP, and then I beat the last boss with 200 HP really easily, because the Dark Crystal heals your HP to full when you do a charge attack. It's really useful. So, I didn't much care for the game. And playing it immediately after Oath and Felghana didn't really do it any favors.
Oh, yeah. See, like, I didn't know that was the context going into Chantilly's. It's just like, ooh.
I think I played Chantilly's first before any Ys games.
Yeah, like, if you'd played Chantilly's after an Ys game, especially, like, Napishtim, Felghana, or Origin, yeah, like, that's good. No, Chantilly's does not hold water.
And the problem isn't the story. It isn't any of the individual levels.
It's just these damn treasures are real bad.
It's like if they just stopped trying to be so fucking clever.
Yeah, there's nothing clever about any of it. It's just esoteric bullshit.
Like collecting we made it so that if you sell multiple copies of the same item, they'll sell for less money because the demand has gone down. Very clever, y'all. Thanks.
See, they are setting the stage for Racketeer.
Yeah.
They're building that economy and that world out.
Ugh. And then they're like spending max HP to get the bullshit hints.
Yeah, that's like, pretty
so
bad.
Wrong. That is so wrong.
It's just it's just because they want to be clever. And if you buy multiple copies of the max HP item, they cost more. If you buy multiple copies of any item, they cost more because demand is going up. So
I think there's definitely an intentional esoteric 80s game vibe that they were deliberately going for with this, though.
Like La Mulana and how it's got a lot of that kind of...
Yeah, John, play La Mulana next. You'll think this is the simplest game ever made.
I've started La Mulana like 6 times, and every time I'm just like terrified of it. It's like, nope, not for now.
I've played that opening area and first boss of La Mulana like 4 times. That's a pretty good game.
I played it without a guide and was like, I'm stuck like 5 minutes in. Well, not that quick, but
like they have like a like just saving the game in the original version was like 6 steps because they wanted to make it like the MSX games.
Yeah.
So that's the La Mulana experience. This didn't. I like the idea of the hidden treasure chest. Like I think that's cute. I think that because there's no XP, because the hidden treasure chests are the entire game, that's all of it, is finding these treasure chests.
Mm.
That kind of killed it for me. And because the hints are bad. If the hints had been good, then maybe I would have been fine. But I screenshotted the hints, tried my best following along, trying to play it legit, and just failed. So I don't much
It's
like
a
it.
miss. It's a miss. John's giving it a miss.
I think I played Yomu Game and Chantilly's first, and then I played E's Origin or Oath and Felgana, and was like, that's
what
this is
feels
the
like
reference
if it's
point.
good and competent.
No, it's just like, I understand what those games were riffing on now.
Is the Yomu game better than Chantilly's?
Yes, the Yomu game is really good.
Okay. Are you sure?
But there's like literally no point to fighting any enemies in it though, because you don't get experience or anything. It's just kind of like the enemies are there.
So just like Chantilly's, basically.
Yeah, it's
where
kinda...
the money isn't useful. Like
but
that
like
sucks.
the Yomu game, like it was kind of just made more as a tech demo though, wasn't it? Because it doesn't feel like a fully fleshed out game to me. Like it's literally like 4 bosses and like 4 small stages.
Yeah, but it's like a half an hour long. Like, what were you like?
Yeah, and then they expanded that. They expanded that into Scarlet Curiosity, but in adding RPG elements, they made it kind of boring.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
I think we talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah, we talked about Scarlet Curiosity. Yeah, I played that last year. I didn't mind it. I don't think it's bad. I just think that the RPG elements made it like it had to be an RPG now, so it has to have a sort of progression to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just like the original. You play through it and you kill everything because they're there. It's a fun action game.
Yeah,
and then you play E's later and go, oh, okay, this is what you were kind of looking at when you made that, huh?
Yeah.
This is the good version, which makes me feel bad to say because E's are like big studio games.
They're big studio games, and obviously the smaller companies are riffing on them, and you don't want to like punch down, but at the same time, it's like, maybe you didn't learn the right lessons from
that's the thing in Chantilly's.
And that's the thing with Chantilly's is that it's
not the budget holding them back. It's not the scope holding them back because the levels feel great. Hitting enemies feel great. I like the boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
I like them when I've got the right build. And the story's nice. The feel's nice. It looks great. It's all these things that just could have been so easily avoided if they'd recognized them as being problems. Which, maybe they didn't. This is their vision. Cool.
Yeah.
Fine.
You do you, baby boo. Cool.
My games are not hard. My games are easy.
Ask after 5. Ask after 5. He beat the shit out of Expanse.
Easy games for babies.
Easy games for babies.
Rhett!
Wait, why don't we take a 5-minute
bathroom break?
All right, we will be back in 5 minutes or so. Hang tight, folks.
Right into the mic.
You farted?
No, John did.
John!
Sorry.
Why did you do that on my podcast? Thank you for the 110 bits, Tinker Gemini. Get that fat 10 bonus because he's using the Subway emote. Because it's September here on Twitch, where first-time subs are half off.
Oh, damn.
What, does that count as shilling now?
Maybe I'll finally do it.
Did I just shill?
No, but
Wow, Polly, I can't believe you're just doing this podcast thing for the money.
Yeah, I know. Fucking. I am the lowest of the low.
Polly is at top looking for new subs.
You're not wrong, though. Hit me up, Polly@socksmanpeoplesexy.net.
What's that email, John?
Podcast. No, not that one. I'm still mad at Tom last week. It's fine. It's fine. I don't care.
What?
What happened?
Last week he said I told you this in the DMs. He said I gave off a sub vibe.
Well, you do. You do. You give off a sub vibe.
All right.
Oh, no. Now he's mad at Polly.
That's fine. It's fine. No, you see, that's just because I don't try to come across as commanding outside of scenes, because that can be douchey, I think. So I just try. Just myself. No. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just trying to live my life. I don't know.
Yeah. I get you. Hey, Red.
That's why.
I'm so sad about this.
Hey, Red.
Hi.
Hey, Red. We have a podcast to do. Why don't you talk about something?
Okay, so last bit, John's playing the very good game Chantilly's, comparing it to Ease, which is a game by Falcom.
Hey, Falcom makes good video games.
Yeah,
they do. I also played a game by Falcom.
Holy shit!
I played Trails in the Sky the Third, finally.
Oh, man! That's a big one!
Fucking boom.
Holy shit, you're dropping my game of the year. Just boom. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. And
I see the best Falcom game. No, go ahead.
So I don't know how to talk about this one though, because it is so intricately woven into the previous two games. And
did you know the structure of it going in? Because that's like one of the things I didn't want to spoil for you.
Yeah.
Oh no! So I had heard one word before going in, and that made me paint a mental picture of what it would be.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't that far off from what it actually was, but I didn't know.
Okay.
Basically, once I arrived in the thing, I was like, "Oh, right. This is exactly what I expected." And I will say, like, I wasn't a huge fan of that aspect.
Yeah.
Compared to the other games, going on these big adventures, having...
It's understandable that the way that this game is... It's the same way that East Origin kind of put me off.
And, yeah, and when I immediately was like, oh no, if this turns into East Origin for me, that's going to be bad. But it didn't. Like, they changed it up enough, I think, so that you're not bored.
And it lets them focus on what they care about, which is communicating these stories about the characters.
I think that's really the entirety of what that game's going for. I think that it's like the gameplay. Like, I think the gameplay in a lot of Falcom games kind of does come second. Like, it comes after narrative, especially when we're dealing with this series.
For this series, yeah.
And I think that this is the most that they've leaned into. Okay, like, the gameplay, like, it's just a bunch of dungeons and shit. And we're going to turn old locales into dungeons. Whatever. Now, let's focus on telling these very personal stories.
Mm-hmm. I actually did really like the combat towards the start of the game, because, like, they keep kind of lightly resetting everything, especially with your orbments.
Yeah,
like those first,
it put me off a bit.
I actually liked that part, like, having to rely more on crafts again. Mm-hmm. Like, those first few boss fights I thought were great.
Oh, they were...
like,
yeah, they're very hard.
They're very hard. Like, they're hard fights that are like, oh, man, I can't believe I just barely beat this boss by the skin of my teeth. And then it has a second form, and you're like, oh, no! And then
the first time I got oh no'd in that game, I knew I was in for it. Because, it's like, oh, God.
And then you're like, okay, I beat the second form. You got me, third form. You got me.
Yeah.
But then they kind of don't keep up doing that.
It's unfortunate, like the devil bosses in particular are kind of they really those really fall off after the first few.
I mean, narratively, it does make sense why they fall off, but
it does.
The boss design doesn't do something else to make up for it, I think.
It becomes more character focused also when you're fighting.
Oh yeah, when you've got more characters in your party. I kind of fucked up because though I actually ended up liking the dungeon stuff enough to where I was putting a lot of the other stuff off.
Oh yeah, you were putting the narrative off for a while.
And then I just got to the end game, and they were like, "Okay, this is the thing. They're just like saying,
point of no return.
This is the end of the game. You can't come back. So do everything you want to before doing this." Mm-hmm. And I'm just looking at that list, going, "Okay, got like over half of these left." So it was like 3 days of just putting my nose down to the grindstone to get through it, which makes it sound awful.
But like
well,
you spent 3 days basically reading a visual novel.
Yeah.
And a real good one, mind you, because the like as we've said numerous times on this podcast about this game, like the writing in this game, especially the character writing and the things that they kind of shine a light on with all of these characters it's just real good content.
But then there were a couple moments where you did have to play. Mm-hmm. There's the one about the 3 guys.
Oh yeah, and it's really hard.
It's really hard, and I was just like not expecting that to be a gameplay one. I'm just like, oh, I ain't got time for this shit.
Everybody.
And thank God for boost mode because of
the
sewers coming back.
But that's a real good fucking door, though. Come on.
I know, but like, I just can't imagine the pacing of that story without boost mode because it's just like, okay, we've got, Act 1, and then how about an hour of grinding against like level 10 enemies in the sewer again? And I'm just like, what? You're making me go through this whole thing again? And like having to find a new exit, and there's no map, and I'm just like, oh my god, thank God I have the sprint button.
Yep.
That one was a little weird. And then there's the fish. And then there's the fishing mini game.
The fishing tournament.
That literally fucking cheats.
It literally does.
I beat all of them except the very last one. I couldn't do it.
I beat them all. John, I beat them all.
But John, did you see those screenshots I was posting?
I did. You said it cheats.
Where I had like. Because Polly showed me a clip of After 5, like, losing with 250 or so points.
By losing by 2 points.
But he had 250 points, and then the AI just bumps up 2 points above him.
Yeah.
I had, like, 470, and then the AI just bumps above me by, like, 10 points. So I'm just like, there's got to be a limit for how high the AI can possibly go on easy mode. Like, what the hell? The fact that stupid fishing minigame is locking me out of, like, the final thing was maddening. Because I'm like, I can't just cheat and watch it on YouTube. I've got to beat the stupid minigame.
You've got to do it!
It's literally the last thing holding me up, though. What the hell?
Oh, I did not beat most of the minigames. Like, I got to the point where I was just like, nope, I'm good.
Did you the trivia one? The trivia one's hard.
I think you have to beat it on easy, though.
You have to beat. I think it's just for the achievement. You have to beat the first level of each door to get the achievement.
I did that. I managed that.
It wouldn't let me open the last one without having beaten the fishing minigame, the first part. It straight up would not.
Oh, God. That's terrible.
Because I had all of them except the fishing minigame, which had a little exclamation. Mm-hmm. And then the last one that was open all the other doors wouldn't let me in. Oh. And then I beat the fishing minigame, and then it did. So kind of a connection there. Yeah, I got to the medium on the quiz and was just like, oh, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
like,
it's a little too rich for my blood.
The nuance they're going for, like, okay, like, enforcer numbers are one thing, but then when they're asking, like, character names and then all
what's the name of this NPC and the second town you visit in first chapter?
The names of the towers.
Oh yeah, which towers in which region, and then the fact that it's all kind of randomized. I'm just like, for No. I got to like question 10 and missed and was like, oh, okay, bye.
Later.
Later. Yeah.
But the title
Funny.
screen art for those games, though.
Oh, they're very good.
They're so good.
It's ridiculously good.
I like the shooting one. I thought it
Yes,
was cute.
that was-
And it
Yeah.
didn't have any hard mode, so it was just done, which I appreciated.
I think I did that one on normal and I died once, but then it has a checkpoint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also an easy mode if you want.
So how about that Trails in the Sky, the third story, huh?
I don't know how to say anything about this without.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I mean, we're most assuredly doing a spoiler cast on these games
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
So I don't want to spoil these games for anybody just casually listening because literally, I think that these we could probably call these some of the most Sockscast approved games.
Yeah.
At this
Right
point.
up there with, Chantilly's and such. And
Oh, yeah.
near Chantilly's Trails, I think, is a good order.
Yeah, it's like the
Undertale. I feel like those all go together.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a game Polly hates, but I couldn't come up with it quickly enough.
Sonic Adventure.
I mean, Yakuza 0.
Yakuza 0, Sonic Adventure,
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Homestuck.
Celeste, that's the one. No, not Homestuck's not a game, John.
Oh, the Homestuck epilogues.
The epilogues, it pissed literally everybody off.
Yeah, everyone hated them. And I was just like, I liked them. I thought they were fine.
I mean, kind of speaking of that, I saw a review of this game that said it's like closing the Lord of the Rings trilogy with the appendixes, and I was like,
it's like that, and it's awesome.
it's weird because the big JRPG does end in the second game,
Mm-hmm.
kind of.
Yes.
It is weird though, because my complaint about the second game, I felt when I talked about it, was that it doesn't give you the full closure you might want from how much they build up.
Right.
And then this game is it's half closure, and that part's good, and then it's half setting up future arcs.
Yeah.
And that felt a little weird to me.
It's still giving you more to think about because more is going to happen in this land of Zemuria.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, there was only 2 doors that seemed to lean really hard into that setting up future arcs.
Man, there's two. There's two
Those
very
were
specific.
the last 2 I did though.
Two very specific.
The very last one is one of the ones that goes all in on that, and then there's the Olivier one, which I did right at the end.
That's the other one I was thinking of.
That one is basically all yo guys, another series exists. It takes place in Erebonia.
Yeah, if it had been more of
they
that.
might as well just call that one Trails of Cold Steel, the preview.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
But it's also weird that there's 2 games before that stuff.
Yeah.
We're really setting this up, huh?
You see a lot of characters making references to going to Crossbell. It's like, oh
It's
boy.
oh boy, I know some shit's about to go down there.
So for me, who is looking more for closure right now, that stuff was a little
unfortunate. Unfortunate.
Especially, the Crossbell game situation being that they're never going to officially get localized.
I don't think so, unfortunately.
I mean, they're having a hard enough time with just Cold Steel right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, there are fan translations, which is great. I know Polly played through those.
Yeah.
And there's better ones coming out soon, too.
Yeah, so I'm at least waiting for those. We'll see.
Okay.
I remember you being like, no, I'm divorcing myself from this series now. As soon as you finished 3rd, you were just like, no, I'm done. I told myself I'd be over it. And then 2 days later, I don't want to play.
I mean, now that I'm getting into other stuff, that feeling of... Because, I don't know, there's always kind of that post-game depression when you beat something really good.
Yeah. Especially with this game.
Especially with this game, and especially knowing there's 6 more of these actually, which is weird. So it's definitely not over, but it's over for now, and that was sad.
Yeah.
I think that they give you enough closure.
Oh, I do too as well.
That you can I think that the kind of closure they leave you with makes sense with the what they're trying to tell you, with the message that game is sending.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, very literally, a certain character.
Yeah. Like, they literally
pretty
make
much names.
Ugh,
Yeah.
it hurts.
It's hard to talk about, even in extreme vague terms, the ending, because the ending is just about the hardest I've credited anything ever. For like 2 hours.
Like I said, when I was gonna finish this game, I was streaming it, and then I had had a power outage.
It saved you.
And then I came back and just kept playing the game, but I didn't stream it, and it's a good thing I didn't, because I was crying for 2 hours, basically. Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. I streamed the end of the first one for you guys, and I was totally stone-faced the whole time.
It's a little bit different of a game. That's a little bit different of an ending.
Yeah.
At least that first... The last boss in this one, again, wasn't that hard.
No.
I'm just remembering that the last boss in the first one just fucking wrecking me like 3 times.
For like an hour.
FC was the games got harder as they go along, but it wasn't going enough hard that it matched the speed at which I was getting better at the games. So they still got easier for me as I progressed.
Yeah.
I think just third and second chapter, like, they start balanced, and then once you get your orbit set up, like, you kind of just fucking crush everything. Like, Earthwall in particular is just kind of fundamentally broken.
Yeah, it's a real broken spell.
Like, there needs to be some sort of detriment to, like, either you lose speed.
And the fact that there are characters that can, like, for a renewable resource, can cast it and prevent the entire party from taking 2 hits of damage.
Oh my god.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, how do you get 2 hits?
Kevin's comes with 2 hits if you use it at 200.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not popping 200.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
if I give him the gladiator belt, I fucking am.
I never used that in this one because I was strong enough. I was like, whatever. I got enough equipment to worry about. There's a lot of equipment in this game.
Yeah,
I gave what Red got? Agate. I gave Agate the two copies of the accessory that raise your strength and then lower a bunch of other stats.
Oh god!
And then I gave him the level 5 fire and some other stuff, and I gave him a really strong weapon, and he was just like, boom, Zweihander, boom, Zweihander, boom, Thanatos, boom. Really happy.
I mean, that's literally
swords.
That's my Tita build.
Yeah,
it's just strength plus 200, strength plus 200. Oh, what is it, like? Attack 5 is called some. What is Attack 5 called?
Kind of like Inferno or something. Rage.
It's just the red gem, I think.
But then there's like an Attack 6 that is like even more strength up and even more strength down. I think that's Carnage, and I think that's what I gave on Tita.
So
Carnage.
So she's just. Yeah.
Just walking up to the final boss doing 15,000 damage.
Fuck, that's funny.
It's a real good Tita build.
How good is that final dungeon, huh?
It's real good. I like it.
Good. That's like they didn't try to out spectacle SC, I think.
Yeah.
They kind of come at it from a different angle that winds up being bigger in a different way that made me really happy.
Mm-hmm.
It made sense as a closure thing for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked it.
Also, the way the bosses was structured surprised me.
That was really cool.
Because I bought... So you get, a couple Zemirian ore to buy the ultimate weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the ultimate katana. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, I can use this on 2 characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then you totally can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this one. I think the big difference for me is that I came away from SC like it's so like finished and satisfying. I think there's a sort of cleanness, like tidiness to it. I don't know. Where like even stuff like Joshua's backstory hit me a little bit, just like, well, okay, that's your tragic backstory. Like they kind of had a cadence to it where it started to feel what I mean is that third just feels kind of more raw and personal.
Yeah. Like there's definitely
it gave me
it's less of an anime tone in this game and more of a very like this game feels very rooted in real emotion.
Yeah. So this one hit me hard. It kind of was the thing I was maybe wanting out of SC that I didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of fulfilled that, I think.
Yeah.
I really like the theming in all of these games. It gave me a lot of good stuff to think about with like trauma and gender, and
Yeah,
I really
like there's a
valued
lot
it.
of. It's a series that tackles a lot, and it doesn't throw any of it like really in your face. Like it's not trying to be preachy either.
No.
Just kind of like it sets its mood. It sets everything on the table and just says, "This is what I am," and like it's not trying to push you either way. I don't think it's just a very. Man, it's just so fucking honest.
Yeah, it just has a worldview that it communicates through how it expresses its story, and it earns that by just communicating that world.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it a lot.
it's good shit.
So that's that. Sorry, no, that's fine. That's fair.
After that, I played Pac-Man.
No. After that, so Trails in the Sky, I picked up in November 2015.
Oh my god.
And then dropped after about 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Still in the prologue. Because it's a long prologue in that first game. It's hilarious in third how short the chapters get.
Yeah, it's so brisk.
Like, the prologue in this one is literally one fight.
Yeah.
Against Gilbert.
That's funny.
So, I picked up Trails like 4 years later in 2019.
Yeah.
And I've now finished all three.
Yeah.
Of the Trails in the Sky games.
That's so much.
When I originally dropped Trails in 2015, though, I picked up another game right afterwards, and we probably talked about this on the podcast. I even said, this is a game I hope to play over a long period of time, and we can keep coming back to it. That game was Xenoblade.
Yo!
Which
that
I started,
smash we hit.
Even when I started playing it
from 2010.
I think the American release was 2011, though, because remember, there was a whole to-do about it not being released here.
It's why Operation Rainfall exists.
Yeah, It came out in Europe first, and then when they finally brought it out in America, they didn't even redub it, so everyone is British in the game.
And that's fine, because it works
fine,
great.
But it's funny. Just, like, the apathy Nintendo of America had towards it could not have been more.
Like, Reggie hates this game.
Yeah, they were, like, begrudging about this game for some reason.
They did not want, like, they would not talk about it. They refused. They kicked and screamed, and it's like, you have thousands of people that are that want to give you their money for this, and I swear to God, it's like that fucking dude that was running
Reggie?
Sega for a while, and he hated
Bernie.
RPGs, so he didn't want RPGs on the system.
Was it Bernie Stolar or somebody else?
Yeah, I think it's Bernie Stolar. But he didn't want RPGs because they don't sell and they're too Japanese.
Oh, is he the guy that tried to tank Phantasy Star 4?
Think so, yeah.
Because then I think he went to Sony for the PS1 and then was trying to tank
and
JRPGs
then, like, his idea there was no 2D games. No game, they would not release 2D games. Or if you were going to release a 2D game, you had to add something special to it.
Wow, this guy sounds like a shitbag.
He was real shitty.
Jesus.
Wasn't there something about Symphony of the Night they only released here because like Symphony of the Night and Metal Gear Solid came as a pair?
Something like that.
They only wanted to release Metal Gear, but Konami was like, no, we want to do both. And
we want to do both,
oh, fine, we'll do your stupid 2D game.
Yeah, basically. That's
like fucking insane.
That's how Sony of America was.
Wild.
Sony of America, under those kinds of, that kind of shit was,
But that whole generation in general was just like, yo, fuck 2D games.
Yeah.
Like, even the N64 was like, yeah, fuck 2D games, man. Like, Mischief Makers, I don't know, it's got 3D backgrounds or something. Like, people hated 2D for a generation. It was so weird.
Yeah. And Paul was sad.
Yeah, really sad.
So how's fucking Xenoblade treating you 4 years later?
So I have actually been going back to this over time, though. So I originally quit, like, January 2016, but I went back, so I have a whole screenshot folder so I can tell when I went back to the game.
Oh my god.
Went back at the end of 2016 for about a day, and then I went back at the end of 2017 for about a day, and then I went back at the end of 2018 for about 3 days.
Oh, wow.
And there's I went through a whole area and a big dungeon, and then it's just like you kind of hit a low point and like a moment of calm in the story, and you're just like, man, this is a long game and there's a lot of combat. So I stopped there. I was laying on a beach and it was just like, this is a nice peaceful place to sit for a year. And then I picked the game up. So I seem to have almost always started in November, like when I pick it back up. So I'm a little early this year.
Yeah.
But this time I'm finishing it, fresh off that Trails in the Sky energy.
Yep.
So I picked the game up though, and I'm just like, I have no idea where I am, what the last thing that happened, because
that's very familiar.
It's very good. It's because those 3 years where I picked it up for a day and did one area and then dropped it again, I had no idea what order those came in anymore. And then eventually I was looking at the map and okay, I did this one, then I did this one. Okay, it's all piecing together now. But they're occasionally they'll bring up characters and I'm just like, who dat again? I don't remember these characters. I met a very important character, and then when they brought him back up again, I was like, oh, you're important. So I had to very carefully look up.
Yes. Oh God, that
having to Google Shulk meets X character without getting spoilers. Very tricky.
I'm reading book 3 of a series now after putting it down for a year and a half. So I'm just like, wait, what? I don't know what.
This is why when I picked Trails back up, I just started over because I wasn't that far in. I was 40 hours into Xenoblade though.
Yeah, no, that's one where you keep going.
There's a point where you have to just keep going because it's okay, now I'm 45 hours in.
Yeah, now you're sinking the cost further. Yeah, which is good. Well, it's I'm not going to reread the whole. RPGs are so long. You should.
They're so long. The funny thing though is that there's a lot of combat in this game, and I may have stopped right before the longest slog of, there's just 3 areas in a row with almost no narrative stuff at all.
God.
And then when you finally get to the top of the thing, everything happens all at once.
That climax is one of the coolest parts of any RPG though. It's real fucking good. Yeah. It's really fucking good.
There's 6 bosses in a row.
Very good.
It's fucking crazy, and it's I missed an area where you actually can go back and grind, and I thought I just had to do this whole thing in a row, because it's there's one boss that was really hard. I took it 2.5 hours, and I was just I'm not going to grind. I'm just going to figure this boss out, because the combat is
fucking through.
Because the strategies you have to use, they are actually pretty specific, and just a lot of almost every boss now has summon ads.
Yeah.
Which is what makes the combat so difficult, because I like using the squishy mage characters, and just it's kind of a MMO-ish combat system. You're not very great targeting.
Yeah, you kind of got to get in a rotation.
Yeah,
and
just really hoping Ryan is there grabbing aggro off everything properly.
Yeah,
and of course you have to go back to the areas and find the esoteric hidden treasure chests.
I am not doing builds. John, if you want to talk about games where fucking bullshit, there's this whole subplot in this game to rebuild one of the destroyed colonies.
Oh my god.
I think that's what put me off the game in either 2017 or 2018 is really trying to engage with that stuff and then just being so mad. The game is if you go do the first one, we can build the large reactor and something, your gems will be better. And I'm just okay, I need this one item. It drops in the second area in the game, the cave. It's a random floor item. Easy enough. I run through this thing 10 times. I get 1 and I need 5. And I'm just why are your fucking MMO drop rates in a single player game? All the quests in this game, all the side activities are just fucking garbage.
Yeah, this game and Final Fantasy XII in particular are games that I feel they're still trying to be MMOs with the same kind of scaling, even though they're single player games, and it just feels fucking bad. It's just here's more systems, here's a bunch of shit that you're never gonna want to engage with, and it's just man, I don't know how people do it, because I've seen all of the shit that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has. And it's just like,
oh boy,
Jesus Christ, there's so much. There are layers and layers of system.
Like, I think this game is perfectly fine if you just try to mainline it, but like, oh my god, the quests, and it's hilarious. Like, they will just drop so many quests on you for just no reason at all.
Yeah, like every fucking NPC. Every fucking NPC has to have a quest.
I went to an area that very specifically had no NPCs in it. They were just like, oh wow, it's abandoned here. And then I find a bunch of computer terminals to give me quests. And I'm just like, yo, fuck off. Like, these quests are like
all the quests are bad.
Yeah, it was literally like, kill 5 of these enemies, kill 6 of this enemy.
Like, this is MMO fucking logic. Like, dictating.
And then there's a couple named NPCs, and it's like, oh, or not named enemies, like, that are stronger than the others. Oh, go kill those. Like, it's just a bunch of boring kill quests. And they didn't even give experience. They just gave money. So I'm just like, this is just the worst. Ugh. And then all the everything happened.
Yeah.
Just like a whole bunch of bosses and cutscenes. And I'm just like completely blown away. And then I get one quest from a guy who's like, oh, a new area opened up over here. Why don't you go do a thing for me? So I go there, and it's a bunch of level 90 enemies.
Yeah.
And I'm like level 70, and I'm like, I literally can't touch these guys. Why would you give me that quest now?
Yeah.
Just very strange stuff. There was something I was going to say, and it just slipped my mind. I wanted to say it while Polly was here. Shoot. But I'm pretty close to the end now. I think Jetstorm seemed to imply I could beat it within like 3 hours, which I don't know. Last area seems a little grind.
That's a pretty, like, yeah.
For saying I was on disc 2 or 3 yesterday.
Yeah, just yesterday. Yeah.
Disc 3s are always just short. That's like the final dungeon and the final boss. Disc 3's the short one.
They're just go to the Northern Crater and.
The Northern Crater.
I think, though, this game has, like, the best cutscene direction I've ever seen.
It's got really good cutscene direction, despite the fact that the models are kind of really bad.
Mm-hmm. That's what I want to mention. So, I beat Trails in the Sky. Mm-hmm. I come back to Xenoblade for the 4th time with true intent to beat it this time, because there's nothing in my way anymore.
Nothing's going to stop him.
So, about that Nintendo Direct...
I was laughing
2 days.
So hard.
2 days after I truly sit down again with intent to beat this game and put another 5 hours in, they announce an HD remake.
And not just like a remaster. They're not just remaster. Yeah. Like, this is basic.
They're really overhauling it.
This looks like Xenoblade 1 plopped into Xenoblade Chronicle 2's engine.
Like, they're redesigning the characters. They're making them look all anime now.
Yeah, they're getting rid of the game's unique look and making it look generic.
After seeing everything that happened, this game's fucking anime as hell.
Oh, it's anime as hell anyway. Yeah, so, it definitely is. I'm just more of a fan of the original designs.
Yeah, like John just said, you're 40 hours in. You're not restarting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm 40 hours in. I'm not restarting. I don't give a shit about your HD remake. And I was thinking, though, like, when have I ever been like, oh, I would have liked this game more if it was just prettier? And I'm like, kind of never.
Yeah.
Like, I played the original Link's Awakening and loved it. Mm-hmm. I'm not really interested in the new one.
I don't think the new one looks that good.
I mean, it's got a neat style, but yeah.
I don't really like it.
I'm just trying to think of, like, oh, Majora's Mask, I played the original, and I look at the new one and go, okay, like, that's fine, but I already loved the original version. Like, their HD remakes are fine, but yeah, there is that weird thing of, oh, you kind of took away the original vision a bit.
Yeah, well, like, we're all holding out for the true HD remake everybody's waiting for, Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, y'all got that DM where I sent you this. Another person who's like, I'm dreading that they'll announce a Switch remaster of Xenoblade Chronicles 1
just because I'm about to finish the original. Red is not the only person that got bit by this.
I can't believe multiple people finishing Xenoblade in 2019
like this week
getting fucked by this timing.
I think it's hilarious. It makes me happy. It makes me happy.
Now that I'm realizing how close to the end I actually am, like, not that I'm going to play the new one, but I don't feel very bad about it anymore. Because imagine the alternate scenario where I wait and then play another 40 hours to realize I was already pretty close to the end.
Yeah.
That would be so much worse.
That would feel real shitty.
Although those cutscenes are real good, so I can't imagine what they're going to look like in the new version.
Yeah, like that's what I'm thinking. Like as soon as I saw that it was like more than just like an upscaling or an upresing.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that it was a complete remake, I was like, oh shit, there's really good scenes that I kind of want to see blown out real good.
I just want to see it. I just wish there was like a cutscene viewer for this game, just so I could kind of catch back up on some of the stuff I forget.
I was always surprised that like the Xenosaga games never had that, given that those games are so heavily, because they're similarly like all about the plot.
Yeah,
but they don't have a cutscene viewer.
Theater mode.
It's just these cutscenes are so good, and I've never seen anything basically have lip sync that actually matches the Japanese like perfectly. Mm-hmm. It's like bizarre seeing it. Like, oh, it's like it matches, and then it goes to the canned cutscenes where they're actually doing lip flap and it's not matching at all, not super jarring. But when they try, like, it's unbelievably good looking, despite the character models being, Wii era PS2 looking stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So wait, this looks different from Xenoblade 2. I realized I've only like seen footage of 2 mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good, because I kind of think Xenoblade 2 looks bad. But take a gander.
Yeah, the original game has a much more
Xenoblade 2's look is
subdued style.
Xenoblade 2's look is just real inconsistent all over the place. Like
it's like the blades. Yeah.
It's anime style, but they have so many designers and artists in the kitchen that there's nothing really that kind of ties everything together. Whereas like the first game does have a very uniform look.
Yeah, it just basically looks like very generic anime to me, where it's just like there's nothing grabbing me about it. Oh, I like this. I'm looking at Chronicles 1 now. Yeah, it kind of does look a little bit like, it does kind of make me think of Final Fantasy 12, which I'm cool with.
Yeah.
All right. Noted. I'm gonna be the one who this comes out on the HD remake, and I'll be playing the original on like Dolphin or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just being like, well, I'm playing the original.
That's what I'm playing on Dolphin, because gosh, the Wii, like, that's the thing. The Wii never really did justice to this game to begin with.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
And then what was their response? To put it on the 3DS.
Yeah, that's a better decision. Way to go. Smart move,
Technical marvel, even lower resolution.
The boneheadedness behind that decision is something I just do not understand at all.
I mean, it's fine for people that wanted it, but
but who fucking wanted it?
I like playing games on the go.
It's a worse version.
Oh, I just can't imagine. The resolution on those things is so low, and it was not originally designed for that.
It's bad.
So
I play phone RPGs on the reg. So
phones have super high resolution though.
Yeah,
they make
phones
use of
are
that.
kind of amazing.
3DS is like 240p, and there was a Wii game, so it's cutting the resolution in half, and like it was already kind of blurry and pixelated.
Okay, there's always an exception to the rule. Ballas, of course, John's best friend.
Yeah,
of course.
Ballas has played the 3DS version of Xenoblade and has finished it.
Well, no one's actually finished it. Let's be clear.
Are you ever really finished with Xenoblade Chronicles?
I mean, if you count those side quests, no.
I know a guy. I follow a YouTube Let's Player named Baller Scuba, who is still Let's Playing that game. What? 2.5 years after I interviewed him. He still has episodes of that Let's Play going. He's also Let's Playing Demon's Souls right now, if any of y'all want to see somebody blindly stumble through that experience.
Is he actually like doing all the side quests to like rebuild Colony 6 and stuff?
He's
my god.
All the side quests, all the heart-to-hearts, everything.
Oh man, the heart-to-hearts as well. Just what a fucking pointless fucking system.
Yeah!
Because I got one by accident, so when I was running through that area with like level 90 enemies, I was just like dashing through it just to see what was there. Mm-hmm. There's there's a heart-to-heart here with Ryan and Shulk. Mm-hmm. And you need max affection for fucking all of them, which you're never going to get. But for them I do, because they're in the party the whole game.
All the time.
So I view the heart-to-heart, and it's just like, okay, that was kind of nothing. Like,
oh, I
they
sure
talked
do
about
like being your friend. I like being
it's
your
not
friend
even
as well.
voiced.
I know. But I have
Not
to
even
give it,
voiced.
I have to give it some kind
Yeah.
of play by mocking it, Rhett, or they're not gonna.
Okay.
I can't fucking text box on a podcast.
Okay, but the way you were doing the accent,
That's how they sound.
not to me.
How Long to Beat says Xenoblade 1, 68 hours for the main story, 164 hours for completionist. Xenoblade 2, 65 hours for the main story, 252 hours for completionist. Those all have bright blue rankings. That means a lot of people have submitted completionist times for these games.
Oh God, I literally can't imagine something being worse than the first game.
Xenoblade Chronicles X, completionist ranking, 279 hours.
It's more?
It's the longest one is Xenoblade Chronicles X.
It's the longest one, and it's the worst one.
Yeah, that's the one game I'm like, you can stay on the Wii U. God, imagine being a fan of that game, hoping it would get ported to Switch, where they wouldn't have to change anything, and the fact that they do Xenoblade first. So I'll have probably beaten that by the time we do the next Sockscast.
There we go.
Finish it tonight.
Maybe.
As Saga will truly come to an end.
Yeah, and then I can pick up that Final Fantasy VII replay that I also dropped in 2015. I wonder what was happening that year. It's like I stopped liking JRPGs all of a sudden.
Yeah, weird, huh?
I actually remember what happened with Final Fantasy VII is that I started using my PS4 controller on the PC, and the controller support for Final Fantasy VII PC is bad.
Oh, it's real bad.
So it reset everything, and I just didn't give a shit at that moment.
Fuck it.
So, Polly, you got anything else?
Yeah, I got one quick thing and then one other thing.
Okay.
So, you guys remember how I started watching Attack on Titan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I
boy,
watched season 2.
Yay!
Season
you're
2.
ahead of John now.
Season 2 is only 12 episodes long. Focuses more on basically like one specific conflict to kind of take back one of the walls, while trying to not lose ground.
Mm-hmm.
Still kind of failing at that. Not doing a great. They're not doing a great job, guys. Things are still kind of bad for them. Thankfully, the good part of this season is that not a whole lot of Aaron in it at all. Like, he's just off, kind of like being intentionally kept off of the front lines. Like, there's a big plan going on, and they're trying to weed out traitors within the group, and basically he's on the sidelines for most of the season, and it's focused on a bunch of other characters that you either do or don't care much about, because again, it's less about characters in this series, I think, and more about kind of the state of the world, the state of things around it. But not having a lot of Aaron in it also means that it also doesn't have a lot of other characters that I do like in it, like Mikasa, and she's always good at lighting shit up. But thankfully they haven't killed her yet to give Aaron character growth, so that's a plus.
That's good for now.
I'll be honest, I think season 2 feels like filler. I didn't much like the action is fantastic, and I think that like a couple of the revelations are like, okay, we're still moving forward. Overall though, I felt like you could condense this in like everything that needed to happen in this season could have been condensed in like 4 episodes. I didn't need the other 8.
Shonenification.
I actually think so. People really bitched about a couple parts in the manga. I think season 2 and season 3 part 1 already are like super condensed from how they originally were in the manga.
Oh man.
Especially, I think that's more of a season 3 thing, that they rush through this one arc super quickly.
It's just like
you know what's killing me though? I think
What?
season 2 was like my favorite before season 3 part 2.
Huh.
I really like season 2.
I don't know. It did not grab me. Most of it just felt like filler. Most of it just felt like filler to me.
I just really like that one relationship. You probably
Which
know
one?
which one. The 2 girls.
Oh, of course.
Come on, Polly, it's me. Who do you think I'm gonna say?
That's a good point. Like, I because there are 2 very specific relationships in the show, and they're both very symmetrical to one another. There's the 2 dudes as well. So,
Aww.
it's not a gay thing, God forbid, you can't have that. You can't have that in shonen. That's a no. Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't think.
I hope you keep going.
I'm going to keep going. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm starting season 3 tomorrow. So.
Oh boy. So we're all waiting for the Sockscast to catch up and do our anime season retakes.
It's like y'all were doing that Sympho gear, and it's just like, okay, fine, I'll watch season 2, and then I'll talk about season 2 on the podcast. And I didn't particularly feel like jumping into season 3 immediately anyway, because season 2 just kind of left me feeling a little Like, I like the idea of what's coming.
I mean, doesn't Aaron do the thing at the end of this one?
Yes.
Yes, that's so fucking cool.
That's the crazy thing.
They don't justify it at all, but it's cool.
No, they don't.
Don't worry, they will.
Okay, good. But yeah, Attack on Titan 2, like, it's... Didn't really feel it, but I like the implications of where we're going. So, that's a good thing. So...
Like, I think this show starts to get really weird, and, like, a lot of stuff happens without justification.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it will all pay off, and you go, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, like, they're good about delaying payoffs, I think.
Yeah.
Because there were a few of those this season that they had set up in the first season. Mm-hmm. And they would flash back to specific moments where they were setting it up, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that was clever. All right, you got me. But yeah. I'm looking forward to season 3. I think it'll still be fun. The world's still ending, so I mean, I still like it.
Yeah, they're losing ground because they're fighting these things that just fucking eat people and tear them apart.
Yeah, it's great.
And there's that one really big one.
There's that one really big one that's really smart for some reason we don't have an explanation for. Maybe I'll find something out about that in season 3. Hopefully, that would be good. Because that freaked me out it's like literally the first episode of season 2. It's just like, oh, what the fuck's going on? What haven't you people told me?
The fact that he shows up so immediately is hilarious.
It's great. It's
because like literally the next because I remember when the first anime season ended, people started reading the manga to catch up, and he shows up in like the next chapter, and everyone was just like, "What?"
Yeah, it's just out of nowhere. Like, what the fuck is going on?
That show's wild.
I'm eager to see where Attack on Titan's wild ride takes me.
Me too.
That's Attack on Titan. I played a new game. A new game.
Oh,
a new game.
New game.
One of those. Y'all remember Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight?
I do.
That's
Sockscast approved.
Now that's a Sockscast ass approved game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty universally, and we all remember. I think some of us might. That shortly after Momodora came out, the developer, he was pretty excited to start moving on to his next project, and he started passing along sort of video of the character. I don't remember her fucking name.
Oh.
Kaho.
Thank you.
He started posting video of Kaho fighting things in a 3D environment. And it seemed pretty all right. Like, it was like, okay, you're moving on. That's cool. And apparently we were the only ones that thought so, because this was met with intense backlash.
Was it really that bad?
It was really bad. It wasn't death threats bad, but it was like, you should stick to 2D because this sucks.
He was just trying to make a spiritual sequel to Chantilly's.
So, Bomb Service, they put out the follow-up to Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight called Minoria. And this is sort of like a 2.5D thing, so it still takes place in the third dimension, but it's a side view game.
Well,
you know what you're...
Can I make my 3D game if I just keep the gameplay 2D? If I make everything else look the same, please? I just want to make 3D graphics, please.
Yeah, it's just kind of what happened here is that idea kind of got turned into Minoria. And it's game where you play the role of a nun, the leggiest nun in the world, I might add. Good lord, she got legs for days. And they're very, like, they make no intention of hiding that at all with her run cycle. It's just like, yo, they're out there, man. You like you some big ass juicy thighs. You like some calves. You want to nom on down. She got them, and they're holy, so you know they're better.
After Momodora put that, cleavage enemy
yeah,
in
the
like
cleavage
all
witch.
Everything.
Yeah,
every screenshot, every artwork, they were like, just a little bit of sex sells.
Just the right amount of sex.
Yeah.
Sister Samilia and I don't remember her Anne Fran, I think. Sister Anne Fran or something. I can't remember. The story kind of is not good. But it takes place during a war between the church and witches. And it's intensifying, and like one of the queen has sort of been cursed, I guess, by the witches. So we're gonna just go kill the witches now, I guess.
Okay.
The story doesn't make a lot of sense. It
Oh,
doesn't.
you're killing them. Oh, I'd rather play as the witch. That's too bad.
I know. Really? Yeah. So it's another one of those. It's a combat focused, explory kind of game.
One of those.
The word
that may not be spoken.
Yeah, I ain't saying it.
It's a 2D side view dungeon crawler.
It's a 2D side view action platformer exploration thingy. That's what
elegantly put.
Elegantly, yeah. There you go. The first thing you'll notice when you start swinging at enemies in this game is that it doesn't feel good at all. Oh god, it feels real bad. The combat, it's just so mushy. It just like when you whack things in Momodora, it feels real fucking good. And I know this for a fact because I replayed Momodora Reverie into the Moonlight after I finished this game, and I played it through on hard mode just to kind of put them at the same level of difficulty. And Minoria's got some issues, some real bad issues. It had worse issues when it launched that almost made me refund it. But as I was about to refund it, a patch came out that fixed some of my issues with the game. So the combat feels bad.
That's a pretty big first one.
You can combo into enemy hitboxes and they have contact damage. That feels bad. That always feels bad. If you play Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight, most enemies, when you start a combo on them, it feels like they hit a solid state so that your character does not start clipping into them and causing damage to herself. This game does not stop you from doing that. It will let you combo right into character hitboxes all day. And prior to the patch, enemy hitboxes that were contact damage would do as much, if not more, than their attacks.
Oof.
The platforming doesn't feel great.
Okay.
It's
not a great bullet point.
It's not a good. We're not getting off to a good start here, are we?
Well, the start was the story's not good.
The story's
and then
not
you went into
good.
the combat's not good, and now you're doing the platforming stuff.
That's kind of the three pillars
the
right
kind
there.
of the three pillars that you needed for this game to kind of
It is an
work.
action platformer.
To continue on with the something I forgot, we were talking about parrying in games earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Minoria has parrying.
Does it feel really good?
No, it feels really terrible.
Oh no!
So it's inconsistent because it's hard to tell if enemy attacks are parryable or not, because you don't know if you're timing it wrong or if it's just flagged to not be parryable, because there are attacks that just straight up are not parryable. When you parry, there is only one course of action after you parry. So you will parry, she'll throw her sword out, parry, she will disappear, and then a bunch of anime sword strikes will start appearing on the enemy. And that's your counter. The problem is that after that counter, you have no control of where your character is going to appear at or land after it happens. Oh. So I ended up parrying a lot and then falling off of ledges.
Oh my god.
And having to redo a bunch of platforming. I stopped using the parry system very early in the game. Because it's also just really slow, and the counter you get out of it seems really ineffective compared to the damage that you would do if you would just, I don't know, dodge an attack and then go attack.
So is it something like that's really kind of only meant for bosses where you're not going to fall off a platform like that?
It could be if you. I don't think any of the bosses are parryable though.
Oh, never mind.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
like there are attack auras in the game that enemies have, and some of them are red and some of them are white, but I don't know what they mean. And there's no consistency in, okay, the enemy flashed and now you know that they're going to do an attack. It's just like, no, they flashed and then they did a 2-second wind up and then they attacked, or then they flashed and then they immediately attacked. There's no consistency. And what's the difference between red and white? I don't know. The game never communicated this. I've played this game through almost twice now, and I could not tell you what the difference between white and red is. Roll through everything, because you're still invincible during rolling. That's all you got to do. So
is the invincible roll something they patched in after launch?
No. Invincible rolling is something that was there, but you can still easily roll and clip yourself into enemy hitboxes if your iframes run out, which still feels really bad.
I mean, that's fair.
It's fair, but it happens a lot, which makes me think maybe something needed to be redesigned here.
Mm-hmm.
The platforming, you can fall through thin platforms really easily for some reason. Like, you just seem to miss them a lot, and I don't know why. It feels like a hitbox detection issue, and I don't know if they're going to fix it or not. The world, it's bigger than Momodora's, but it lacks character beyond being just, hey, here's a gothic setting. Here's, like, some real dark hallways. Here's a dark cellar. Here's a really nice forest that you end the game on. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Hey.
Well, I like that.
It's finally said something kind of positive about the game.
This is a game that I feel so weird about because I played it almost twice because I feel like I was trying so hard to get something out of it. Like, I don't like... It's weird that I cannot think of another game I've really felt this way about, where it's just like, no, I gotta try this again. Maybe I'm missing something. And it's just like, no, I'm not missing something. This game is kind of not good, and it doesn't really feel like it's the game the developer wanted to make.
Oof.
Like, it just feels very uninspired. It feels like this is the one I had to make because everybody got mad at me for wanting to make the other one.
Oh, man.
And I feel really bad about that.
Because you didn't want it to be that. Because that's the kind of what we were worried about.
Yeah, like, this is a game that I was looking forward to. Like, I was too. Like, this is a game that, like, when I heard it was coming out August 27th, I was like, sweet, fuck yeah, I'm gonna buy that. And then, just, you get it, and it's just, it feels exactly like what I thought it would be in that, like, and even just, like, listening, like reading the guy's Twitter after the game came out, he just doesn't seem very happy. Like, it, and like, the Steam forums for this game are dead. Like, I think its peak number of players was 300 at some point, and that was, like, launch day. And since then, like, it's just barren. Like, I think this game bombed catastrophically, unfortunately. And I understand why. Like, I understand why. I just feel bad because I think that it all ties back to that original incident where after Reverie Under the Moonlight came out, and he literally said, I feel I have done everything I can with 2D. I need to move on. And then tried to and got such vehement backlash for it that I really feel like that's affected this game. And I kept playing it because I think part of me wanted to like it, because I think a part of me just kind of felt bad.
I mean, of course you wanted to like it.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
But I think a part of me was just like, as a developer, I felt bad because it was just like, I kind of feel like this is just not what you wanted to make at all, homie. Yeah, unfortunately, I've got to give the pass on Minoria. Like, even as a curiosity, I think it probably just costs too much. And it's just... And it's like, I don't even want to say it's a terrible game. Because it's competently put together. It's just there's so much about.
I don't know. Like the way like you keep talking about all these issues that were solved in the previous game, like that's pretty damning.
Yeah, I don't. You could play this game and you could have fun with it.
Yeah.
But it is not going to hold up in the same way that Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight does. Because that was a game with a developer, I feel, 150% behind what he was trying to do.
And nailing it.
And nailing it. Whereas this game is just like, I don't get... You didn't want to be working on this, and I really feel it. And plus is that Church versus Witches is a story idea I've always liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have started work on a new project with that premise.
Oh my!
Not directly. Oh. It's not directly nicked from this, but I will say that this put me in the headspace to be able to start working on that project. But we're going to consider that project unannounced for a very long time. I will just say that work has been done on it, and I can at least thank Minoria for the fact that it inspired me, but maybe not in the way that it wanted to inspire me.
No, I feel that. Oh my god, these tweets are really rough.
Yeah, aren't they? Like, when you read the post-release tweets, it's like, I feel really bad for the guy, honestly.
I don't know how I have released so many games and keep thinking of more when after every release I spend weeks thinking about how much I hate making games. Alright.
Oh. It just...
Oh.
Man, like, I think, like, even if he would just... man, I don't know. I feel like there's such a... Like, I don't want to speak for somebody, obviously. I don't want to, like, say that that's where he's at with this game.
Yeah.
But knowing what happened and how this game turned out, like, this game obviously is also facing the first time in a new engine issues, which I think that's what you can contribute a lot of why this game plays bad.
Yeah.
And why I think the combat needs work, and why a lot of other things about it need it to be left in the oven for a bit. But there's just this kind of malaise, I feel, that hangs over the whole thing, that, like, I don't feel that there was excitement in wanting to make this. Yeah. And it just comes through with the game that I played and how I felt about it, trying to play it and trying to play it more and find more meaning, and just being unable to. That's a really weird feeling of just replaying the game again, because it was just like, I'm trying to convince myself of something at this point, and I need to just stop.
Yeah. I mean, these tweets, he's literally just saying, like, really unsure what to do next when my past 6 games are more or less the same sort of thing. I feel like I got myself into this role of making the same thing. I need to break free.
That's the tweet that really hammered it home for me, that I don't think that Minoria is the game he wanted to make.
It's like there was a different game he was trying to make. And John, you didn't finish that tweet, though. I need to break free and make Momodora Kart. I turned it into a joke.
Sorry. I left out the joke for dramatic effect. It's a good joke.
It's a very sad tweet without the joke at the end.
Yeah.
I will say, though, on the Steam forums being dead, like, I think a lot of indies are just bombing now because there's so much out there.
There's so much shit out there now, but... Like, I thought that maybe this was a higher profile release. Like, just because Momodora caught on.
I think if it had been called Momodora 5, it would have been.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel like he probably does feel like the next thing he has to do has to be Momodora, and it has to be 2D, and...
Momodora 3D, Momodora 64. There we go.
There you go.
Just fuck the haters. Go back to that.
At the very least, we got a leggy nun out of it, and her legs are real good. Even if they're covered, they're still real good. Them long ass legs on that model, man. They're really long. You'd make an entire meal out of those things.
What do you want to do to those legs, Ollie?
Well, You know what? Momodora or Minoria, best legs of 2019, maybe.
All right.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'll have to look for some contenders.
So that's Minoria. That's my last thing. John!
Yeah?
Boy.
What else you got?
Oh, I'm sure. Well, Rhett and I both watched something, an animated thing recently that I'm sure we're both excited to talk about. The Steven Universe movie came out.
Oh, yeah.
Why is everybody singing?
Why are there songs? I don't understand.
I mean, they explicitly marked this as a musical, as opposed to the regular show, which is just a show that has a lot of songs.
Yeah, that's like why I very specifically said I'm not watching this movie.
There's a ton of songs in this.
But I am so checked out of Steven Universe at this point. I just don't care.
Also, you'd have to catch up on a lot.
Yep. And I just don't care that much about it.
Yep. That's fine. As long as you're okay with us making fun of you on occasion. Because
I don't care.
Okay, cool. I was worried about doing a pile-on thing.
Do it! Do it! I'm fully ready for this. I was making the jokes myself.
Okay. There's several. Oh, I hate that there's songs in it, and I hate that there are episodes devoted to not the plot.
Yep, that's me. That's literally me. I have to laugh at that because that is literally me.
And it was the most just like, well, this is a completely alien perspective to me. I will never understand this, Polly. We have you see, like, there's no point where we can like have like a discourse here.
Yeah, while me and John may have, be on the same wavelength a lot of times, this ain't one of them.
Because this is a fundamental divide. Is I hate that there are songs, and I hate that it's not focused on the plot every episode. And that's just the whole show.
Yeah.
So there's no compromise, no common ground to be found.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, you go on Anime Phil and you find out the episodes of Steven Universe that do matter to the overall plot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, the Lars episodes don't matter at all, obviously, and the Sadie episodes, those don't matter, obviously. Those episodes, the Stevani, that doesn't really matter. Oh, wait. Oh, shit, I don't know.
I don't know, did Stevani ever matter?
That's gonna make a lot of people angry.
Did Stevani matter? If she doesn't show up in the finale, then does it really matter? I guess it doesn't matter that these characters grew and changed and stuff. Okay. If it doesn't matter to the plot, then who gives a shit, really?
I will say I was being facetious, but also I was a little surprised that Stevani didn't show up in the movie.
Yeah, there are a couple of those. There's apparently doing more stuff, though. Which is interesting.
Apparently it's not over. Even though Season 5 was very much over.
Season 5 was very much over. The movie's thoroughly ended, too. I think whatever they're doing next is going to look very different. It's going to be very weird. I'm excited. I'm satisfied with this as an endpoint. So whatever it is, like, I'm just coming at it as a new thing. I'm happy about it. I just really like Steven Universe. I think it's just good. I think it's just good all the way through. I think it's just good. And then if we want to talk like nuance and get into like maybe like I talked with some friends and they like the end of season 2 kind of sucking the season of build up by just instantly resolving the cluster thing and the giant and the fusion. Like, yeah, maybe that was a little weak. I get that. I think that's where Polly got dropped off the show. And I'm like, yeah, maybe it's a little dumb to just sort of drop the tension there. And then we talked through a number of other little things. And it's like, we can have these discussions because they come from the fundamental place of acknowledging all of the stuff that I really like about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm in a place kind of like Last Jedi, where like so much of the discourse is kind of poisoned that I just get so defensive and annoyed talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't like...
I mean, people seem to really like the movie, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's in a better place than it was, like, 2 years ago.
Is that... Oh. The show didn't end that long ago, though. That was, like, this year.
No, I'm saying where the discourse was at 2 years ago on the show was just poison.
Was that when a certain reveal happened?
A number of them. There's several moments where everyone was talking about how fucking evil it was, and ugh.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at with Steven Universe, is like just trying to like have the nuanced conversations is just like, no, I it's so poisoned because of the way people talked about it that it's really hard. That's hard for me. Kind of like Last Jedi. That's kind of where my brain went.
Mm.
I really like the movie. I really like the villains. I really like the villain in it. She's very good, and I thought it was a good story, and I cried a lot.
Okay.
There's one other thing we both watched, I think. Rat. Do you want to talk about that thing?
No, I think you should. I think you should go first.
Okay, I watched the first season of Symphogear.
Symphogear.
Symphogear. All right, so this is also an animated musical.
Yeah. Speaking of shows where characters sing when they fight.
So, all right. So let's just talk about that. The effect of that gimmick that they have to sing when they fight is just that it's regular anime fighting with an insert song played over it, and then for like a couple shots, they'll show the character's face, and they're loosely lip syncing along to the song.
Oh yeah, it's very goofy,
and it's very unconvincing, is what I'm saying. Like it doesn't, like it just feels like an insert song that is like, and then like, and the way that the song is recorded differently and sounds very different from the spoken audio.
Yeah.
As well, the way it didn't sell it for me as like being sung by the characters until like during the finale where they really kind of make it work.
Yeah.
So I think my main takeaway was that I cared about the main cast. Mm-hmm. Like I communicated that to you a couple times, or there's like this, especially the main relationship with Miku and the other one, the main one, Hibiki, and I cared about Chris, and I cared about the other one, and thank you. And the finale goes really hard, and
it goes so hard.
It goes so hard for like 3 or 4 straight episodes.
Crazy.
It's very, like we were talking about that last time, where things just won't go, where they won't have that big ending that we really crave, and simply I think across the board it kind of felt sort of first drafty. I think
it's a very messy show. I think.
Yeah,
and the fact that they land the ending so hard is like hilarious.
Yeah, because they keep like bringing up concepts, major world building concepts, and then they're immediately relevant to what comes next, and then they won't bring them up again. And it's just like, okay, you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants here.
Which I kind of love. Like, the way the last boss basically just announces her plans and, like, the whole Tower of Babel thing out of nowhere. It's just hilarious.
The last boss's backstory is
just
so
out of nowhere.
Wild. And it just comes out of fucking nowhere. It's not set up at all in the preceding chunk of the show. And it's so weird. It's very funny, and then like you don't really understand what her plan is until after the climax, and then she kind of explains like, "Oh, this is what I want to do. This is why it would have been really bad if I'd succeeded." And I was like, "Oh, okay, glad I know that now." But yeah, I cried a lot at it because it went really hard, and I was sitting there crying my eyes out at this dumb show, and just thinking, I'm really not that hard to please. Right? I'm not. It's not hard to make me happy. And I think what happened was I finished it right as the Nintendo Direct was happening. And I was just like specifically thinking back to like Nintendo game, like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. This is so mean. Just like Symphogear did it. Why can't y'all? Why can't y'all do it?
Wow.
Make me happy. It's so wow. Look at this stupid show. It made me happy. I'm not hard to do that. I'm an easy audience. So it made me feel like in that sense, just like maybe it shouldn't be that hard. Come on. And I thought about that in relation to a couple other things because basically, yeah, it's very messy, and the ending made me happy, and it made me want to watch more because I like all the characters. I really like Miku. Oh,
that's a weird favorite character to have, but sure.
She's the one that doesn't transform. I kept, there's like it's a very standard like oh, are they gay? Oh, are these two in love? But then also being like where they're just so overt with it. So I just bought it. I was just like, sure, I'm gonna say they're in love. I don't care if they don't have to say it straight up.
It's your headcanon. You can do whatever the fuck you want with
They're like sleeping together, holding hands, and saying, "You are my sunflower. You are my warm, special place." Like, it's real gay.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just normal thing gal pals do anyway.
And then, Tsubasa
look at these good childhood friends.
Oh, jeez.
Miku is my sunflower. Oh my god, that melted my heart. But then, like, she kept... Basically, the most invested I got in the show was when she kept ignoring her girlfriend and then, like, breaking plans with her girlfriend because she had to go do magical girl stuff. And then I'd just be like, no! How could you do this? You were supposed to watch the shooting stars. And then...
John can actually enjoy love again.
You're supposed to watch the shooting stars together. I don't understand.
I can't think of the last time I heard John react this positively to somebody in love. The last thing I heard is that he hated the couple in East 8 and wanted to murder them.
So I was just like, and then so the way that plays out, and when Miku, it's just like this tension building of of the main girl not appreciating her girlfriend, her
but also keeping this huge secret from her,
and keeping this huge secret from her. And I was just like, do you even deserve her? Do you even deserve her? I was like turning on Hibiki, and then it finally kind of climaxed in this nice episode conflict, and then it comes up again in the finale, and it's very good.
There was crying, and screaming, probably. And embrace was had at one point.
And then they actually sing a song in a way that feels like on point thematically. It actually like lands emotionally for me, and that made me happy.
And then the show turned stupid.
Wait, what, Polly? Oh, and then it turns stupid because there's a song in it.
Because they're singing.
Oh, God.
Every time we see a screen cap of a character saying "stop singing," we're just gonna send it to Polly now.
Yep.
Shit. What have I done?
We all have those things now, right? Where it's just like, oh, I see this thing. Send it away. Send it to the rep.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, look, it's SAO anything. Send it to After 5.
There you go. So yeah, I had a good time. I don't think I really think it's good.
Jeez, you kind of cooled on it, huh?
Sorry.
No, I understand though. Like, I didn't really care for the first half, and then the Miku stuff starts happening. It's like, okay, I'm a little invested in this. And then there's that fucking finale, and it just goes so hard. And I was just like, okay, I'm 100% in.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, I want to watch more. I think it's going to need to convince me that it's like kind of maturing a little bit. I think it's. I was tier listing it with other magical girl shows. Like, I definitely like it more than Flip Flappers. I don't think I like it as much as the Nanoha. Because Nanoha's story just felt so focused. Like it diddles around for the first half, but like the actual plot, the actual story is just like this perfect emotional core that it develops and builds on and releases in a really strong way. So like that was just like, I think so I feel like either going into Simple Gear next one or Nanoha A's. Like, I know which one I think is probably going to be a little bit better, but I still want to watch more Simple Gear.
Cool.
That's where I'm at. Rat, what have you been watching?
So one last thing on season 1 is I think I agree that Nanoha is more focused because I think Simple Gear is just trying to tackle so much, really.
Yeah.
Where you have the Hibiki Miku stuff, then the Hibiki and her whole beast mode side, and then Tsubasa dealing with her grief, and then the whole Christians thing. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a bunch going on in that show, and it moves really fast. They just have
the Fate thing, the Fate from Nanoha thing.
Yeah,
Fate is Chris. But then it's, like, condensed.
Yeah. She turns real kind of suddenly at the end. Like, I'm a good guy now. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't sell it the way that they do in Nanoha.
Yeah. So last time I talked about Simple Gear Season 2. This episode we're talking about Simple Gear Season 3. Yay!
All right, let's do it.
Polly is just like, oh my fucking god. So I had a funny thought right before I started this, where it's like, Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon seasons are like 40 episodes long.
Yeah.
So
they go on long.
There's a lot of filler in them. So Symphogear, it gives you the experience of watching a Sailor Moon season without all the filler, because they're these nice little 13 episode seasons.
It's a very nice, tight, compact 6 hours.
Yeah. Little did I know that Symphogear Season 3 is by far the most Sailor Moon of them all so far. In kind of a good and bad way. I don't necessarily mean that as a put down immediately, but it's like, I feel like the show definitely kind of changed gears a bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Where the first 2 seasons, like with Chris and then the season 2 cast, like they're writing characters that aren't irredeemably evil so that they can be redeemed later on and like kind of have, character growth. Season 3 starts with a villain who goes, I'm going to destroy the world.
All right.
And then she stays that way. She wants to destroy the world the entire season. And she has 4 minions, these elemental-themed dolls.
It's a goddamn RPG.
There's a fire one, a wind one, an earth one, and a water one.
Jetstorm wrote this!
And they're really cool, because 2 of them have, like, the shark teeth thing, and they're evil.
I like shark teeth thing. Shark teeth thing is always good.
They look really great. One of them, the fire one, kind of looks like Uzume.
That's great.
So that she's really great. So like they're fighting just these evil characters this time, but then the season just kind of falls into being a little more predictable, I think, where it's just like, okay, like Monster of the Week stuff, really, and then when you realize, like, this character is paired with this villain, and then they're going to complete their character arc by defeating that villain, and then you realize, is that the next 4 episodes? And then it is. Yeah.
That.
So it's like, okay, now this one's going to be defeated in this episode. And, when you've only got 13 episodes, 4 is a lot.
That's not a lot of runtime when you got 4 baddies.
Yeah. And then the ending finale does not go nearly as hard as seasons 1 or 2.
Aww.
I will say, so...
You had a strong reaction when you started the season, though. The
biggest tease in the show is that the first episode is fucking incredible. Like, you know how in, like, action movies or, like, James Bond stuff, movies will start with an action scene that has largely nothing to do with the main plot?
Yeah.
They just do that in this. Where the first 6 minutes is, like, them tying up a very tiny thread from season 2, and it has nothing to do with season 3, basically. But it is just this fucking crazy, like, animation exhibition, yeah. It's just, like, the 6 minutes of complete nonsense that is absolutely friggin' glorious. It ends with Hibiki suplexing a spaceship. It's very good.
That's pretty fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they changed this later on. The main girl, everyone has their special weapons. The main girl's weapons are punching.
Yeah.
That's
it's
good.
Very good.
That's really good.
Very good.
That's why I say in season 2 they make it explicit that her power is holding hands with the other girls to channel their energy. Yeah, so she's still punching. And then she suplexes a spaceship. It's very good.
That's really awesome.
And then, so this is still in the first episode. Then there's another idol concert, because of course. And then they start to introduce the villains. It's just like, it's the most jam-packed first episode I've ever seen. Because it's just like, you're just giving like all these things like 6 minutes to breathe, and there's like a tiny bit of school slice of life stuff, just so you have a moment to breathe. But yeah, overall the season was just a lot more playing it straight and like, like you talked to me, John, earlier about how like season 1 has this edge to it where like it's kind of violent sometimes, and like there's that scene where Tsubasa uses her climax song and then is like, bleeding from her eyes afterwards because she's almost dead. They've definitely kind of toned that kind of stuff down and just it's playing it a lot more straight. And I'm like, don't know if I'm gonna rush right into season 4 because I'm like,
it feels like they're pulling back from the things that kind of really... Like, it sounds like this is a show that well, whoops, it got an audience, so now we need to take out the crazier parts, the things that gave it more of an identity, because now it's got the chance for wider appeal.
That's a pretty good way of putting it. I am hopeful about one thing, though, is that seasons 4 and 5 were actually greenlit at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have a more connected story this time, where I've heard season 4 is kind of a big setup to 5. And 5 has like a super high rating on my anime list right now. Because it's the true hardcores watching it right now while it's still airing.
Yeah.
But
season 1 does not have a high ranking on.
No, it has like a 7. It's unbelievably low.
It's like number 3,500 of all shows.
Wow.
Like,
It's
that's
hilarious.
as low as I see anything I've ever watched, basically.
I think I've watched stuff with lower scores, but like 6.8 or something will be about as low as I'll go. It's so weird, though, because when I was originally going to watch, like, oh, it's this magical girl show, and there's 5 seasons, like, I was expecting season 1 to be super mediocre and for it eventually to blossom into something better.
Mm-hmm.
And then season 1 goes so hard at the end, I'm like, oh, awesome. And then for it to pull back in the middle is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe next time I'll have the season 4 review, maybe not. I actually did watch one other anime.
What was it?
This one, it's called Princess Principal, which is a very bad name, which is why I put off watching this. This is a show by the studio that did Gale Gun Online, which there's a Gun Gale. I forget which order.
Gun
it goes
Gale,
in.
yeah. You linked me this character designs, and I was like, oh, yes, this does look like that.
So it's the same studio and the same character designers, but different writers. But this is a show about 5 girls who are spies in kind of 1900 Europe, and it's a very cute show and very good. And like, there's a little bit of action. It's more of a spy show, and one of the girls is the princess of the nation that they're infiltrating.
Cool.
Which is a very good premise, I think.
Yeah.
Because when they first make contact, like, they've been assigned like to kill and replace her, basically.
Yeah.
And then she just ends up joining them as a spy, convincing them that she'll be more useful that way. It's a pretty good setup. So, yeah, it's kind of funny just watching a show that I've literally never heard anybody mention ever.
Yeah.
And then being like, oh, this was actually pretty good.
Nice.
Like, nothing amazing, just some solid episodic episodes, Like, there's not a whole lot of overarching plot, which I was kind of disappointed by.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, like, it's very kind of playing it very straightforward. Like, oh, and here's our 2-episode finale that is way more rushed than it should be. If only we'd given it 3 episodes of time, because just kind of the anime formula.
Yeah.
You've either got 24 minutes or 48 minutes, basically.
Yep.
So the finale went a little fast for my liking, but it did have a satisfying resolution.
That's good. That counts for a lot in anime now.
Yeah, it kind of does, given, shows actually ending is not a thing that happens very often.
It's not that it actually ends, though, because there have been, like, kicking around rumors of a second season or a movie for apparently a year now.
Oh, jeez.
And it seems that it may have been quietly shelved. Like, no one seems to know it all right now. Like, I've seen it be called season 2. I've seen it be called a movie. I've seen it been called, like, they're doing the 6 50-minute episode things, which is what, what's the Tank Girl show? The Tank Girl show.
The Tank Girl show.
Girls in Panzer?
Girls in Panzer is doing 6 50-minute movies in place of season 2. Which is, like, literally the worst possible way, because it's going to take, like, 4 years to come out.
That's misery.
So I've heard this show might be doing that, which I hope that was just somebody speculating. But maybe nothing will happen, and maybe it's just over.
That works too.
Don't think this show exactly lit the world on fire, because nobody's ever heard
Literally
of it.
never heard of it.
Yeah. It was a cute show. Girls who were spies, and they have kind of cute powers.
And you said you watched it like without anybody kind of pointing you at it, and how that was kind of cool. Like, to just dive into something and have it be
diving
really
into something
good.
with no recommendation. Like, the only connection I saw was like, hey, tangentially related to Gale Gun Online, which is the good Sword Art Online spinoff.
Yeah.
The show that made me work so hard to like it because that connection was so awful.
It's such a poisonous connection.
It's so poisonous. But then that show goes so fucking hard at the end.
Gun Gale's so fucking good.
It's so good.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, there's a slight little romance in this one as well, and that was what I was able to latch on to in the finale.
I like Nancy and Fagir, where I was like, oh, okay, I like this. I like this a lot.
And my voice is like gone now.
All right.
We've been at it for a bit.
We have been at it for a bit, so I guess it's time to wind it down. Yet another fabulous and amazing episode of the Sockscast. I want to thank everybody out there in Twitch land for joining us for the live stream, and anybody downloading it, of course. You all are awesome, and we love you a whole lot. Thanks, of course, again for the bits and the subs. They're also very much appreciated. Now, one more time before we get out of here.
Oh, no.
Oh, God, remember.
John,
which.
if you fuck it up, you're fired. How about that?
All right,
and I really mean it this time.
I will say it.
All right. So,
you can send voice recordings to Polly at socksmadepeoplesexy.net.
Woo!
And you can send text emails that we'll read on air at podcasts@socksmadepeoplesexy.net.
Boom! You nailed it. You're alive, Thyre. Imagine that.
Wait.
What?
I believe you said podcasts with an S?
No, he
I
said
did?
podcast. No, he didn't.
It's podcast?
It's podcast.
I said it with an S. I said it with the plural. I fucked up?
You didn't say it with the plural.
I definitely meant it with the plural. I thought it was podcast. Maybe I didn't. Maybe
oh my God! Would you two shut the fuck up?
Oh my God,
Jesus!
that's melting my brain.
I want to get out of here, and y'all are making me angry now.
Fair.
John Thyre.
Yeah?
Tell the audience where they can find you and your various creations.
Podcast at Sockscast.
And remember, we're the podcast that loves you. We're the only ones that love you. All right.
If you had asked me where to find me, I was going to say twitch.tv/Eric'sJoystick.
I'm just done!
I don't know how the last 20 minutes there got probably done.
Okay. All right, everybody. Hang around. I'm going to send y'all over. I'm gonna host someone. Be sure to say hi and tell them you love them. I don't know who I'm going to do it yet, so that might be a little weird, but oh, hell. You know what? After 5's over here, he's only got 5 viewers. He's streaming Trails of Densetsu 3. So we're going to send you over there.
Wait, there's another Trails game?
You'll get it someday, Rhett, I'm sure. All right, so we're going to host After 5. And everybody can get on out of here. So we'll catch you next time. Later, everybody.